about it too.
Right.
I'm saying that's us live. That's your whole.
Oh, was that it?
Yes, sir.
I feel like Jed Clampett. Every time we hear that music, somebody come to the door. All right.
Enough of that, homie.
All right then, that's what's up.
Good, bro, we live?
Yes, sir.
Shabbat shalom, y'all.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom to the worldwide family. Peaceful Sabbath today, y'all, as we come to gain more knowledge and understanding of the Most High's word given to us by his only begotten Son, our Lord and Savior, Yahawashi HaMashiach, locally known as Jesus the Christ, y'all. Y'all know how we do it. We turn toward Holy Jerusalem, as recorded in 1 Kings 8th chapter, Daniel chapter 6, 1 Corinthians 11, men are to uncover their head, women are to cover their head when praying or prophesying within the assembly.
That's right.
Y'all, we want to do what 1 Tim chapter 2 verse 8 instructs us to do, and that's to hold our hands up high. We want the Most High to lift us up today, y'all, with his power, his truth that goes to the four corners of the earth. Tamper free.
Yes. All right, family, we're going to get this opening prayer. And it's with the Most High's permission. And in the name of his only beloved and begotten Son, our uncrowned King, our Lord and Savior, Yahushua HaMashiach. And we know him as Jesus the Christ, y'all. Long live the King.
Long live the King.
Reading in the book of Psalms, in the 32nd chapter, it reads, blessed is he whose transgression is forgiven, whose sin is covered. Blessed is the man unto whom the Most High imputeth not iniquity, and in whose spirit there is no guile. When I kept silence, my bones waxed old through my roaring all the day long. For day and night thy hand was heavy upon me. My moisture is turned into the drought of summer. Selah.
Selah.
I acknowledge my sin unto thee, and mine iniquity have I not hid. I said, I will confess my transgressions unto the Most High. And thou forgavest the iniquity of my sin. Selah.
Selah.
For this shall everyone that is godly pray unto thee in a time when thou mayest be found. Surely in the floods of great waters they shall not come nigh unto him. Thou art my hiding place. Thou shalt preserve me from trouble. Thou shalt compass me about with songs of deliverance. Selah.
Selah.
I will instruct thee and teach thee in the way which thou shalt go. I will guide thee with mine eye. Be ye not as the horse or as the mule, which have no understanding, whose mouth must be held in with bit and bridle, lest they come near unto thee. Many sorrows shall be to the wicked. Many sorrows shall be to the wicked.
Yes, sir.
But he that trusteth in the Most High, mercy shall compass him about. Be glad in Yahweh, and rejoice, ye righteous, and shout for joy, all ye that are upright in heart. Hallelujah! Say that!
How many of us down there? That sounds like 200.
Yeah, that's how it be.
All right, y'all know how we get down once again. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
To the family on site here in STL, as well as our family worldwide. Shabbat shalom to y'all. Want to continually thank y'all for y'all supporting us for the lessons and supporting us with the one love that we are practicing a tamper-free doctrine. Y'all, we believe it from Genesis to Revelation. Every word of it is pure, 100% pure. We believe in a 100% pure sacrifice of our sins and intercessor, the Messiah. Every word is true, y'all. If you're having a problem with anything we say, you might have to change the channel.
Yep.
Or you can listen up if you choose to do so. But y'all know how we get down, y'all. We're under the order of Melchizedek, with Christ Yahweh Shai as the high priest. And under that order, all of the world comes under the laws, statutes, and judgments led by Israel. That means male, female, free bond, rich or poor, Jew or Gentile.
That's right.
So y'all, we gonna get some understanding today. And the question remains, am I y'all's friend? Because you got to be his friend to be in his kingdom.
That's right.
There will be no enemies of the Most High in his kingdom. So you're gonna have to find yourself a friend, y'all, and a servant. When he moves up to friend, that's graduation. That's summa cum laude if you try to, just water it down to what they do here in these nations. To become his friend, that where he knows you, a true friend. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
You know your partners. You like, no, my partner wouldn't do that.
Right.
I know him like that. I done been around him many years. I understand that. So y'all, we're gonna get right into it. But y'all know how we do. Any questions or concerns? Anybody here? Before we get started, any questions or concerns out there in the worldwide audience before we get started? So we're gonna jump on it and hit it hard.
So far, so good. No questions.
Good.
No questions or
Audio
concerns?
good. Everything good this week? All right.
Y'all, and we have, I should say Tubai has remedied all of the connection problems. We were having sound issues. All of that's been rectified, y'all. So we good to go.
we
And
doing first,
I don't
huh?
see anybody out there saying they can't hear or it's too low.
No, it look good.
So we good to go, y'all. We're gonna start off in that should be Genesis. I don't know why I had Abraham.
That's why I'm like,
But we're
I don't
gonna
know
start
what-
off, y'all, with the friend of the Most High, who was given a covenant to give to his children all the way up into that kingdom. So y'all, we just want to we'll run a couple of who the Most High calls his friend. Abraham, we're gonna start with him because that's who the covenant went through and why we are here today and fall under that covenant. We're gonna start in the book of Isaiah 41. That's what that should be.
Isaiah.
41, yes sir. And then we'll go right to 2 Chronicles 20.
We started in Isaiah.
Yes sir.
41 and 8.
Yeah. And y'all, we just gonna get just some one-liners to get in here, and then we'll get into the meat of it, of a friend. We just want you to see a couple places where two witnesses, the Most High, speak of Abraham as his friend.
Shabbat shalom, Mark.
Shabbat shalom. He ain't never called Satan his partner.
You ready for that, Isaiah?
Yes sir. Whenever we get ready to rock and roll, we can rock and roll.
Okay. Everybody there? Get on back over.
On that.
Shabbat shalom, Mark. The book of Isaiah, chapter 41, and we'll start our reading in verse 8.
So I was just trying to keep it up with the fan.
And it reads, "But thou, Israel, art my servant, Jacob, whom I have chosen,
Right?
the seed of Abraham."
The seed of who?
Abraham.
Look, when you start talking about Israel and where we come from, we're the seed of Abraham. Our beginning started in his loins. As mentioned in Hebrews 7th chapter, where he said he paid tithes and Levi while he was yet in his loins. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 9. Thou whom I have taken from the ends of the earth, and called thee from the chief men thereof, and said unto thee, Thou art my servant. I have chosen thee, and not cast thee away. Fear thou not, for I am with thee.
Right.
Be not dismayed, for I am thy Elohim. I will strengthen thee, yea, I will help thee, yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness.
Yes, sir.
Behold, all they that were licensed against thee shall be ashamed and confounded. They shall be as nothing.
What shall they be?
They shall be as nothing. And they that strive with thee shall perish.
So, right, once again, we can hold up, but I want you to read that verse 8 for me one more time.
Verse 8.
Yeah.
But thou, Israel, art my servant, Jacob, whom I have chosen, the seed of Abraham, my friend.
Now we'll get this second witness because I'm going to drive a point home here concerning Abraham, his friend, and how he became his friend. 2 Chronicles 20 and 7.
The book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 20 and verse 7.
I'll tell you what started verse 6 and 7.
Verse 6. And said, O Master Yah of our father, art not thou Elohim? Abraham, thy friend forever?
Thy friend forever. See, this is the talk that's going around. Not talk of Abraham went off.
Right.
See, this is way up in the Kings now we're in here. And Abraham was way before Isaac was born, who was before Jacob was born, before who the 12 tribes was born. Now you got a king repeating what Isaiah said.
Right.
That the Most High said, Abraham is my friend.
Forever.
He's my partner. I gave him a bosom where y'all got to go rest at.
Yeah. You got to stop off at Abraham's
You got to
place.
stop off at Abraham's house.
If you're worthy.
If you're worthy.
That's it.
James 2:23, y'all, then we're going to get into the crux of this case study. Am I y'all's friend?
Now we're talking about on this my old book, missing a few pages up front and up back. And comes from some heavy workout, you know what I mean? So James 2 and 3. Let's see.
Come on, James. I'm looking for James. Come on, James.
Yeah,
Go ahead, I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So James 2 and 3.
Yes, 2 and 23. Yes,
2
sir.
and 23.
Start at verse 20. We read down to 23.
Okay.
See, and we're going to see three witnesses that say the same thing, the word that got around town.
Man, okay. Can I start that at 18?
You can start at 18? Yes, sir, bro.
The book of James, chapter 3, chapter 2 and verse 18.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, a man may say, thou hast faith, and I have works. Show me thy faith without thy works, and I will show thee my faith by my works.
Yes, sir.
Thou believest that there is one Elohim, thou doest well. The devils also believe and tremble.
Who also believe?
The devils also believe and tremble.
And this is a very another strong point. Again, once again, y'all, the devil don't disagree with the law. He's trembling because he know about the lake of fire. That's why when the Messiah cast the demons out, he said, are you here to torment us before the time? you early. But they spoke of tormentation,
Right.
not of kingdom bound. Let's read some more.
Verse 20. But wilt thou know, O vain man, that faith without works is dead?
Yes, sir.
Was not Abraham our father justified by works when he had offered Isaac his son upon the altar?
Yes, sir.
Seest thou how faith wrought with his works? And by works was faith made perfect.
Yes, sir.
And the scripture was fulfilled which saith, Abraham believed Yahweh.
What did Abraham do?
He believed Yahweh, and it was imputed unto him for righteousness. And he was called the friend of Yahweh.
Now you see how James is all the way up here talking about this after the Messiah is ascended. The same thing. He was called the friend of Yahweh. Old and New Testament.
Right.
So we get an understanding clearly that all of these prophets understood Abraham and never doubted. But you have to believe, y'all, if you believe anything is tampered with in this, you might as well put it down. Because you, in the world, you won't accept tampered with.
Right.
But yet, the doctrine or the volume of the book that governs your soul, you have a problem with that? No, all that means you want to do what thou wilt.
Right. Right.
You ain't fooling nobody. So y'all, we're gonna get into the crux of this, Genesis 14. And y'all, and we're gonna see what made him become a friend, y'all. Then we're gonna jump into Genesis 18 real quick, Jasher 18. And we're gonna show a little bit of Sirach. And then we're gonna show you the foes of the Most High, why they could never be his friend. And if you're into this activity, you will never be his friend. And what friends you let in your house, especially a non-friend that you let in your house. Would you just let a stranger come in, somebody just knock at the door and say, your door just showed up to me, it just popped in my GPS and I have a feeling you want to invite me in.
But you know what, man, and my thing is, with all this stuff that's coming up, it ain't nothing new under the sun.
Nothing.
Here in the United States of America, we have over 700 different religions.
Yeah.
But truly what religion is just the doctrine of man. It's man's interpretation
Absolutely,
of
bro.
the scriptures. So when they find something that they can manipulate or kind of lead other people into following with them, and
Right.
that becomes their congregation, and then this is their interpretation of the scripture, this is their religion. You can either take and read and study this book and do what they do and take little pieces out and then create your own group,
Yeah.
your doctrine, or you can take it as what it is and work with it the way we're supposed to work with it, line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little and there a little, but don't go over to this other book and try to justify this shit out of this other book
Right.
with this book, and then try to discredit this book, which is the source.
Right.
So all these other books are just offshoots, but then when people find a little something that they think they can manipulate, and they do it and they run with it, and then they have other people who want to belong to follow them.
Right.
That's how we get these different religions and these different doctrines. But just stick with the script. You're trying to flip the script, nigga. You know, that's
Right.
what I'm saying.
Right, but he say be not deceived, because when you keep every man a liar, that don't mean you just have to look at somebody like they're lying. You have to look at them like they can be lying anytime they question the scripture.
Exactly.
Man, you really believe that? You just showed up, you ain't 30 years old, and you questioning what's been around for at least 6,000 to 12,000 years minimum. I'm talking about the writings. The kingdom of heaven, we ain't got no idea how old the universe is that was created by the Most High.
But you know, it's funny too, we'll get you right in 1 second, but I was thinking about, we were talking earlier about now, how we see that Abraham is a friend to the Most High.
Yeah.
But then when you grow up with people and you study with people and you take them in to be your friends and your brethren, but how soon things can change because of their own thought processes. You think they're your friend, but they're truly not your friend. They're trying to see how they can benefit from you.
Absolutely.
And then assume, they fair weather friends, I would have to say. Because when the weather changes, they be gone in a different direction. And we, like I said, we are a living example of that.
Yeah.
People who have been watching us, watch how we haven't strayed from our position one way or the other from the scripture, but a lot of the brothers y'all used to see down there have strayed from that, and those that say they didn't but left with them,
right,
now they're doing nothing. So I mean, I would stick with the same. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Don't fix it.
You know?
That's what the script say. You can't fix truth. Truth is an absolute,
That's
is
right.
it not?
That's it.
Right now it's the truth. We down here. What time is it 2 by?
209.
Is that the truth or not? Because if they track any of our cell phones, it's going to put us right here.
Yeah.
In this location. That's the truth.
Yeah.
Of the matter. It don't need no support. There's zero we can do about truth.
Right.
Especially when truth has already got your future lined up in it.
Yeah.
This truth know your future better than you do. Mm-hmm. You had questions out there?
That's why Oriel was hitting on that manipulation. I want to hit on that term that you were talking about.
Go ahead.
It's called gaslighting.
Gaslighting. This is a term out here. What that term mean?
It says gaslighting. Gaslighting is a form of psychological manipulation.
What is it called?
Psychological manipulation. In which a person or a group covertly sows seeds of doubt.
Show seeds of doubt. Seeds of doubt mean it's tampered with.
Right.
That'll sow seeds of doubt in you immediately because it's got you not trusting the truth. Go ahead.
Or a group or a person or group covertly sows seeds of doubt in a targeted individual or group, making them question their own memory, perception, or judgment. It may invoke changes in them such as cognitive dissonance or low self-esteem, rendering the victim additionally dependent on the gaslighter for emotional support and validation.
See, and that's what happens when you teach that don't believe that died in Leviticus 11 and 14.
Right.
Believe me, I'm doing all the healing. That's going to kill you.
Read this letter.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it says using denial, misdirection, contradiction, and disinformation.
Right.
Gaslighting involves attempts to destabilize the victim and detangleize the victim's beliefs.
You see that? What's up, Elder Judah?
Boy.
Look, that's gaslighting. That's to cause a trick in the scripture. Raise doubt among you.
Yep.
If the light go out in the law, y'all, ain't no judgment day.
Right.
That's their main goal, to eliminate them from facing judgment day. You can get out of all you want. You can say the devil, I don't believe in the devil. Does that make him not exist?
Not at all.
Because you don't believe in it.
Right.
Okay? And I meant to say, let's go Genesis 15. We'll start about verse 1. 15, I'm sorry. Genesis 15, 1 through, we're just going to read down a bit, about the first 10 verses, first 14. And we'll get right through this, because I want to get into this subject matter, y'all, of why he's y'all friend. And then we got to hit some Sirach 6, so we understand how to be friends. And then you'll understand the 2 greatest commandments, even though they're showing 10, but it say to love the Most High with all your heart, might, and soul, and love your brother as yourself. You don't kill your brother.
Right.
See, some are running greedily after Cain. Cain offered vegetables, didn't he, as a first fruit? The law told Abel, the firstling of your flock, as a free will offering to me. That's what Abel offered, because it wasn't a sin offering, because Abel had done nothing. And then the Most High asked Cain, what are these vegetables you bringing up here? I require obedience, not sacrifice. What's them vegetables? That's what I want to bring. No, you can't bring that to me. And his countenance fell. Shalom, Margaret. His countenance fell because he didn't get to offer what he wanted to offer.
Right.
So now you mad at the Most High. And then later on he said, hold on. And I'm hearing something. I hear blood. See, the Most High can hear blood. He said, I hear Abel's blood crying. Where Abel at? Know what he asked? Am I my brother's keeper? See, you'll have people around here to lure you into a doctrine, been with you all this time, claiming they're your friend. And then when the heat get hot, I'm not my brother's keeper anymore. You'll let them get tangled up into messes and say, I ain't my brother's keeper, they ought to know better. Well, the script say, you're supposed to be your brother's keeper.
That's right.
And let's make sure both of y'all keep the law, because I only need 2 of y'all hanging out together, really. Not 10, 15, 200 of y'all, just 2 of y'all keeping my word, because how many walk together unless they agree?
2.
Let's get it, y'all.
Genesis chapter 15, verse 1.
Yes, sir.
After these things, the word of the Most High came unto Abram in a vision, saying, Fear not, Abram, I am thy shield.
What is he?
Shield.
So ain't no Star David nowhere around here. Who's this shield?
The Most High.
Go ahead, let's read some more.
And thy exceeding great reward.
See, it's a great reward with believing in the Most High. Every word of it. Go ahead.
And Abram said, Lord God, what wilt thou give me, seeing I go childless? And the steward of my house is this Eleazar of Damascus.
See, so he like, I don't have any children. Eleazar is the only son I know, and he was given to me as a servant when we left Egypt. When Pharaoh tried to take Sarah, Eleazar was given to me and another servant, his brother. Hagar was given to Sarah as a gift. This all I got in my house. Who's going to be my offspring? Go ahead.
Verse 3. And Abram said, Behold, to me thou hast given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is mine heir.
Right.
And behold, the word of the Most High came unto him, saying, This shall not be thine heir.
What'd he say again?
This shall not be thine heir. But he that shall come forth out of thy own bowels shall be thine heir.
Come on, Mike.
Verse 5. And he brought him forth abroad and said, Look now toward heaven and tell the stars if thou be able to number them. And he said unto him, So shall thy seed be.
See, he put a question out there that where he knew it wasn't gonna be no answer. That'd be just like us go out on a clear night and he say, look up, count them stars. Look, once you start saying 115, 116, what? Now I gotta start over. It's too many to try to keep count and say where I left off at. Let's read some more.
Verse 6. And he believed in the Lord.
What'd he do?
Believed in the Lord.
See, y'all, this is the key word no matter where we read Old or New Testament. What is the key word here? Belief. If you don't believe it, it's going to be a problem. Gaslighters take your belief away. They cause doubt in your belief system. Don't you trust the Bible? So who do we trust concerning our soul? You ain't got no foundation. Can you build a house without a foundation?
No.
That's like building it on sand, ain't it? Where we at?
Verse 6 again. And he believed in the Lord, and he counted it to him for righteousness.
Right.
And he said unto him, I am the Lord that brought thee out of the land of Ur, out of the Chaldees, to give thee this land to inherit it. And when he said, Lord God, whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it? And he said unto him, Take me an heifer.
Take me a lettuce.
An heifer.
Take me an onion.
An heifer.
Take me some carrots.
A heifer. Of 3 years old. And a she-goat.
And some spinach.
A she-goat.
Okay.
Of 3 years old. And a ram of 3 years old. And a turtle dove. And a young pig.
So we see we got a meat diet right here. And it was clean because it's the same thing he's requiring that when Noah got off the ark, he put on the clean and the unclean. So they're following same law. Because it was 7 pairs of the clean and 2 pairs of the unclean that got on the ark. So it was only 2 male pigs and 2 female pigs that got on the ark. but it was 7 male deer and 7 female deer that got on there. So there was more of the clean than the unclean that got on the ark for a reason. Let's read some more.
Verse 10. And he took unto him all these, and divided them in the midst, and laid each piece one against another. But the birds divided he not.
Right?
And when the fowls came down upon the carcasses, Abram drove them away.
And the reason he drove those fowls away because they were birds of prey. When the fowls come down, it's a vulture, it's a raven. He had to shoo them away. Get away, Mary. Because ain't no chicken gonna come and start pecking on no dead cows. You don't see that. If you see a squirrel get run over on the way to work, when you come back, ravens then picked him out of the street.
Yep.
Ain't no chicken come from out back and picked him to pieces.
No.
What else to say?
Verse 12. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram. And lo, an horror of great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years.
See, afflict them 400 years. A nation. So y'all, it's only one group of people been afflicted for 400 years. We ain't got to show me in the Bible where it say the African Americans are slaves. All we got to show you is where on planet Earth did a group of people ever serve another group of people for 400 years? That's the common denominator, ain't it? That's the case study. If you go past that, you can't get the white Jews doing that. 4 years at the Holocaust in Germany don't equal 400. You can't add 2 more zeros behind that, can you?
Yeah, you could, but it'd be wrong.
Could, but it'd be wrong.
Yeah.
Go ahead, bro.
Verse 14. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge. And afterwards shall they come out with great substance.
So for this nation to be judged, it has to be judged by what?
The law.
The laws of the Most High. What else is he going to judge them by? If that's tampered with or that going away, this nation's scot-free, ain't it?
Yeah.
This nation will be like, hold on, how you going to judge us with tampered product? We going to lock you Negroes down for another 400 years just for that statement. They could do it, couldn't they, if this tampered with? But they hollering, we've been here 400 years. Talk of reparations and culture changing in. But they doing it slickly because they want to let in, just like the civil rights movement, they want to let in the gay rights movement at the same time. Piggyback, but at the same time, we got states that took away the voting rights and voted against it. 400 years, we born here, raised here, and still we fighting for voting rights that other people just come right in and get. You technically, we are natural born citizens of this land, and we still fighting for rights 400 years later. Something wrong with that picture, ain't it?
You know, and that's funny that you mentioning that too, man, because this whole Juneteenth thing, that just passed by, for so many years, man, I thought that the slaves were freed in 1865, but it was like in January. But I found out it's in January of 1863.
Yeah.
And it was 2 years and 6 months that they didn't even tell them. But then when
Texas,
they right, yeah. But then when they finally fessing up to the fact that they know about it, they make it a holiday.
Yeah.
But they ain't sending out no reparations for that. But they just said, we did that. Don't worry about it. We'll give you a day off from work.
Right.
And then y'all just forget about it. But the same thing with the Tulsa, Oklahoma joint. You never really heard about that. But then they finally fessed up to it. Is out there, we know we killed all you niggas and we ran y'all out of y'all land. And then they had a couple of survivors, but even those survivors couldn't even get back rent, back pay, or nothing. So they saying, we know what we've done to you, all of these atrocities, the Devil's Punch Bowl, the riots of 1919, it's all kind of things that they know that they have done, but they still just saying, you niggas will get over it.
You know why? Because they know why we were sent here.
Right.
Because they paid the Chinese off.
Yep.
They paid everybody that they tortured, they paid them off. German, everybody, they paid them off. Paid the Irish off. Go ahead, sis.
And then they they say it was a holiday, but in my house it wasn't nothing. Then you had to go work. Everybody went to the post office. Had to go work.
Look, because they sprung it on us in the middle of the night. If you already got companies already have days set up. Now, will it be next year? Maybe not, because every company don't have to do a federal holiday.
Well, my first thought was, I told him, I said, well, you know, you need to ask the postmaster, you don't get paid. If you go to work now, you get paid 8 hours for the day, and then another 8 hours for the holiday, right?
Right.
I'm just, you know.
You wonder.
Well, and every now and again I think like a Caucasian person.
Right.
Like I'm crazy.
You're right.
Like, if I wasn't happy, even though
Right, right.
And then I'm sitting there and they said Juneteenth and Biden and so, and I was like, that don't mean nothing.
Nothing.
And then they say here on the TV, if something happens, they bring it right back here like they don't know no better. Something ain't right in the water. Everybody in Missouri on TV, on the news is like, we've been celebrating it for years.
Right.
No, you've been clowning for years and making sure you mention it to make sure that these good Negroes stay in their place. That's on the resume.
And that's all it is. But look, all they're saying is we're trying to recognize, and we're going to just stop y'all from complaining a little bit. We ain't going to give you nothing. So what happens is it become a vain tradition just like everything else, because it's money spending. The only way we're going to enjoy this is if you spend some money. Right. Because if you ain't working, you don't get no vacation money, do you? You don't even get a day off, do you? No. So it's not for the brothers that may be self-employed. Mm-hmm. So you don't get no pay from the Fed government. You can't put into, you self-employed, you can't put in there in your taxes. Right. Oh, by the way, tax man, put in Juneteenth for me too, because I'm supposed to get an extra. He can't do it. So it's not, it's only to, y'all just be quiet for a little bit.
That's what I was telling my daughter. I said, well, if they're going to do something, that don't mean nothing putting something on paper. And he might go to work, but what about Tyrone and more and the rest of them? They don't have a job. I thought if you black, they give you so much on your taxes each year for that.
That's what we talking about. Send out a check. Send out a stimulus check for, and look, you got to send it to the people in jail too. What they gonna do about Juneteenth?
I don't know. But
you locked up on 20 to 30 years. What you gonna do about Juneteenth for the next 30 years? What do you think they gonna provide for you? Do you think you get a special meal that day?
Same thing.
Do you get commissary? Do you get a conjugal visit?
Maybe by force. Why
Go ahead. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead, Nat Turner.
Verse 15.
Yes, sir.
Boy.
And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace.
And how you gonna go to your father?
In peace.
Thou
shalt be buried in a good old age.
So this meat eater was gonna be buried how?
In a good old age.
See, you see how he gonna be buried? And you know how old he was when he did take the dirt nap? 175 eating meat.
Right.
175. His son was 180. And his son was 147. So what we looking for is some lettuce eaters that live past 85. See, and look. Right, and see, and look, this is what we don't want to do. We don't want anybody to think that's on that diet that we're lashing out at that. No. We're saying do what your body will allow you to eat or whatever, but do not force anybody off of what God say is good. That's all we're saying.
Right.
We're not. It's like we're not making fun of Aaron when we say we're under the Melchizedek order. It ain't throwing no stones at Aaron. Aaron had his time, but it's no more. So we're not talking about that, and we're not throwing stones at Joseph. We're just saying Joseph is his stepdad. It's not his biological father. That's all we're saying. It ain't disrespect to Joseph. It's not disrespect to Aaron. Nor is it disrespect to anybody that's on that diet, but it's a balanced diet. When we got off the ark, it said you can eat meat and you can eat fruits and vegetables. You have a balanced diet. That meat is not going to stand in there. And what they're not doing is telling you that all of the studies they're doing on meat is eating raw, is eating medium rare, is cooked on flat grills. So all of the instructions on how to cook meat to eliminate what they're pointing to ain't being prepared that way. So you cheating again and you know better. Do a study real quick of them hewing some meat, roasting it with fire, and then examine that for us. If you don't, you cheating, because we can do the same thing and go get E. coli. Right now, somebody can Google it. E. coli on lettuce plague. And what you seeing growing on lettuce and tomatoes and carrots, you would never want to take another bite because you wouldn't trust it at that point. But y'all, we don't play that game because we know we on a balanced diet. There's good things that I can't do. You know, turkey is what's called high in purine, P-U-R-I-N-E. That means the additive or which in that chemical makeup that if you get too much in your system and your pancreas and don't kick it out and it don't flush it out, it builds up what's called uric acid. Turkey is legal, right?
Yeah.
So I have to make sure I don't just continually eat turkey every day. It's gonna be a problem. Lima beans is good, ain't they? Yeah. But 3 helpings of lima bean and have my big toe like I'm gonna get you sucked. So I have to be disciplined and eat 2, and then I have to wait 3 days to get some leftover lima bean, or I'm gonna pay the price. If you eat just lettuce only, your bones are gonna get weak. You're gonna lose iron, and you're gonna have to substitute that protein with what do you call them things you send out for them pills in a bottle? What we the term supplement, sister? Thank you. You're gonna have to supplement with supplements, so to get back what the meat is doing. But if you fall down the steps, you're gonna break up like graham crackers because your bones are weak. You won't have the same strength because we're talking about dying flesh that needs. And this is the other problem. Before I not cut you off. What caused the animals to sin? Because if you're using running that same game, we didn't eat no meat, nor did the animals. They ate straw. What caused them to eat meat? What caused them to attack the people? Was it us? Because there's nowhere written in scripture, and this behavior of eating meat caused animals to start attacking other animals. What caused the animals to turn on each other? You got to answer for that. You can't give us half of this. There's another side of the coin with this. Just like they say you got lust in your mouth, you want blood, you want to go back to Egypt. Well, that same scripture say you had lust for cucumbers. You had lust for melons. You had lust for leeks. But when you only read one part and hurry up and close the book up, you cheat. You're an opportunist. You're using warlock doctrine. Let's read some more. What you got back there, Shamal?
Yeah, it's like, these animals eat grass, and we made from the earth, so lettuce, cucumbers, and stuff like that, they don't have grass in them, but we do. So if we eat a clean animal and eat grass, we're going to be A-okay. And what's happening is they're trying to put a block all over the globe on grass eating animals. They're going to tax us for it, and they're even trying to stop cows from being sold in California. They got a man-made drought out there.
Yeah.
So we see what's happening, man. It's an attack on us.
It's an attack on the law of the Most High. It's an attack on His law.
And His people.
Yeah.
So we got to be smart, man. We got to study, and we got to study this world because we do. That's all I got, man.
And look, and this is what we talking about too, bro. The Antichrist don't care about no diet you on. The Antichrist say whatever you want to purchase, whatever meat happen, how you sell him your herbs, y'all got to come through me. So you need a mark to come through me. And if you take my mark, you come into the lake of fire with me. What we care about a diet when a system is coming, you won't be able to eat, period, unless you got the mark. What you gonna do then? What you gonna do then? It said it causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, meat eaters, letter eaters. If you want to keep eating like that, take the mark. What you gonna do then? How you gonna heal anybody when you got to go through them to be able to sell your product to that individual? So every individual will have to believe that the Most High will feed me not with just bread and water alone, but by what? Every word. Not some of the words, not the tamper word, but how many words? Every word. Don't y'all believe these charlatans, y'all? I don't care what you eat. It's not going to stop this flesh from dying, because you know why? Adam wouldn't have lived past, he would have lived past 930 years. And he ate meat. 930. Methuselah lived 969 and he ate what? Look, this is a diet of Cain. They're running greedily after Cain. Cain's family first wanted to start polygamy, wasn't it? On that side of the water. They ain't shaking that, is they?
No.
Why we won't get back to one man, one woman? See, y'all, this is what we're talking about. The deceivers that's coming in the last day. Be ye not deceived. You know how you not get deceived? Don't let nobody tell you this tamper with. If you find something that appeared to seem contradictory, be like Peter was on the rooftop when he told him, Peter, rise, kill and eat, and say he doubted the vision because he said nothing unclean had ever entered my mouth. What is the Lord asking me to break the law? And while he was yet thinking about the vision, Cornelius showed up. He like, that's what he was showing me. That's what he was showing me, not to call any man common or unclean, but the food is still, the law is still sanctified with truth. So y'all, we have to understand what they're doing is trying to get you to doubt the law of the Most High. They ain't at us personally, y'all. They mad at the Most High. These are children that couldn't get along with the fifth commandment if you paid them to. They were always disrespectful to their parents and teachers and elders. It's the same group of people. They always been disrespectful. It's just rising up now to the Father. They mad at him. I've been doing work for you. I've been teaching people. No, you've been teaching the devil work. You mad at me now, huh? So you gonna go get you a new daddy? Just like I can get me a new friend, I get away from this, I get me a new gal. It's all that gal doctrine. They treat everything like they treat their women. In here it say a wicked woman is given to a wicked man. Don't you believe that? That ain't right. You ain't reading that right. Why not? Because I said it. I'm your ruler. I'm your Lord and your master. You hear me, woman? But she just quoted the Bible and they say don't believe that about me. You better believe Genesis 3:16, not Genesis 3:17. I don't have to go to work. You just better obey me. See, and that's where it starts, y'all, and it just keep creeping up and creeping up till it gets to the Father. And they say, we ain't gonna even do what you say. I give me a new God. I go to Egypt, I hear God's there. They let you do whatever you want to do in Egypt. You can worship hexagrams, you can do the arm, you can do crystals, you can do whatever you want in Egypt. That God let you have your way. That God just named Satan. You just ain't said it. Let's read some more. Where we at? Who got a question? Anybody?
I think that we got finished with that. You want to take that to 14, right? Let's take it to 15. That Genesis.
Take it down.
You read that on out then.
Yeah, I was just about to say. Yeah.
Because he gonna tell us what a promise, how much land we got, because it has to match up with Ezekiel 48th chapter when he passes out the lots to the 12 tribes. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 16. But in the fourth generation they shall come hither again. For the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet fulfilled.
Right.
Yet full. Verse 17. And it came to pass that when the sun went down and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces.
What did pass between those pieces?
A burning lamp and a smoking furnace. Verse 18. And the same day the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying, unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt onto the great river, the river Euphrates.
See right here, but y'all, when you read verse 17, it say a furnace came between the pieces of what? What was the pieces?
Meat.
That was the meat. So look, the Most High agreed to a meat covenant that gave us our inheritance. If you're saying meat ain't allowable, then you got to get out of this covenant. Y'all understand? Is that hard? How you gonna be part of a meat covenant and change it part way through? Y'all, this is what we're talking about. The same individuals that don't keep their marriage covenants, they don't keep their covenants with their friends or groups, they always breaking their covenant. It's a pattern, y'all. You can't be a part of Abraham's seed, Israel, Isaac, and Jacob, because all three of them were meat covenants. Isaac blessed Jacob with a meat covenant. Go get me savory meat that I love. And then I'm going to bless you when I get through eating the savory meat. Either that or these are bogus covenants we under, and we need to get out of this right now, and we ain't Israel no more. But notice who's doing it is changing their names from Israel because they know it's a meat covenant, y'all. Y'all listening for the wrong language. Listen what they're trying to get out of and saying they don't want to be a part of no more. They're just trying to drag Israel, who don't know what they're doing, along with them. Misery loves what? So you can't be a part of Abraham and his covenant unless you accept the meat covenant diet. You have to accept it because the Most High accepted it. He didn't say get that up and get what Cain offered, did he? Let's read some more.
Verse 19. The Kenites and the Kizzites and the Cadmonites
Right?
and the Hittites and the Perizzites and the Rephaims and the Ammonites, Amorites, my bad, and the Canaanites and the Girgashites and the Jebusites. That's the end of that.
That's the end of that? Okay, y'all, so we see the meat covenant right there. So we just gonna get right into it and see if the covenant is fulfilled with Abraham. Give me just a little bit of that Genesis 18, then we're gonna jump to Jasher 18, 1 through 10.
That's good. You on that 18.
Where you want me to start at 18?
One.
8, what, exactly?
All right, Genesis chapter 18, verse 1. And the Lord appeared unto him in the plains of Mamre.
Where he appeared to him, who appeared to him?
In the plains of Mamre. And he sat in the tent door in the heat of the day.
Right?
And he lifted up his eyes and looked, and lo, 3 men stood by him. And when he saw them, he ran to meet them from the tent door, and bowed himself toward the ground.
So when you read these scripts, y'all, that's why we're saying you have to keep reading, because he said, I saw 3 men standing by me. You would think the man was, he just looked up and 3 men standing right there. He jumped like, oh, where y'all come from? But it say he ran to meet them. So when they say they stood by, they was in eyes distance. And he ran to meet them. He didn't walk. He had to get running toward them because he knew these some supernatural individuals right here that I'm seeing. And he ran to meet them. What else to say, bro? See, let me say this real quick. It's like in the book of Genesis when you read, and she gave to her husband who was there with her, and he did eat. So if you believe that language just like that and don't understand biblical language, then Adam is the biggest sucker and chump on the planet because he let another man mack his woman right in front of him, and he took some money too. See, it's the only way you can have it if he was right there, but when you read the scripture, Adam wasn't there. That's why Satan moved in, because he wasn't there. If you're at the club and you go to the bathroom and there's some sharks in there, they're going to move on your woman while you're at the bathroom. Real quick, because they see what you buy. Cheap whiskey, a water bag, but nothing to chase the water. I mean, for the water to chase. He come up with Grey Goose and Hennessy Cordon Bleu. I see your man ain't got no money really. I'll be over here though. And you come back, where you get them drinks from? He gave them to me. And you, fella, come on over here. You buying drinks? I'll share it. No, it wasn't that. Adam wasn't there. He was somewhere else in the garden, tending to business. That's why he moved on him. And that's why he still moved the same way today. He moved on the weaker vessel, so to speak. And it's only weaker in the strength. It's not weaker up here. There's a difference in the soul. All souls are equal in measurement, so to speak. Because if a woman commit adultery and a man commit adultery, and the death penalty the same, do he water down anything? No. So the only weaker vessel means it's weaker in strength and flesh. But up here, you're much stronger. If that wasn't the case, there would be no women judges. Deborah was a judge, wasn't she? Miriam was a prophetess, wasn't she? If it was about up here being weak, it wouldn't be in the writings. Eve was never told to be weak up here. They were equal up here, because he asked her, what did I tell you? Then she answered the Most High what he told her. But her flesh and our flesh was made weak because of that. but we're still the head of the weak flesh. Is that understandable? Let's read some more. Where we at?
Verse 3. And said, My Lord, if now I have found favor in thy sight, pass not away, I pray thee, from thy servant. Let a little water, I pray you, be fetched, and wash your feet, and rest yourselves under the tree.
See, and this is what Abraham was able to do, because hospitality is the first thing under the order of Melchizedek. You always, somebody come by, you offer them, like you do your family members, take your shoes off, man, sit in the lazy boy. You don't tell them to take all their clothes off, you tell them to take the shoes off to get the weight off their feet, don't you?
Yeah.
And rest yourselves. And see, they wore sandals, so wasn't no socks, so get a little water to wash that dust off your feet. You still ain't gonna track dust in nobody's tent. Tend to be dusty as hell, wouldn't it? Let's read some more.
Verse 5. And I will fetch a morsel of bread, and comfort ye your hearts. After that ye shall pass on.
What shall you do?
Pass
You
on.
can't stay. It ain't no doctrine of you come set up shop in somebody's house and they Abraham. That's a lie. You can't come with your pictures and this is me, a little Earl Jr. and Betty Sue, and I want to put that where you say my room is. Read some more, bro.
Verse 5 again. And I will fetch a morsel of bread, and comfort ye your hearts. After that ye shall pass on. For therefore are ye come to your servant. And they said, So do as thou hast said.
And they said, so do as thou hast said. So that include when y'all get through eating, get moving, don't it? That's what they said.
He told Yahshua,
But look, that's what he said, but it's the hospitality part, because the rules are you don't stay.
come on.
You don't hang around.
That's right.
Let's read some more.
Verse 6. And Abraham hastened into the tent on the Sabbath, and said, Make ready quickly 3 measures of fine meal, knead
Needed.
it, and make cakes onto the, what's that, hearth?
Yeah, that's just an outside oven, so to speak.
Yep.
It's a hot rock, and they need to make some hot water cornbread quickly. What we like on the Passover, we had to make unleavened bread because it cooked. You don't have to wait for it to rise. Flatten that bread out, that cornbread, easier to travel too. Let's read some more.
Verse 7. And Abraham ran onto the herd, and fetched a calf tender and good.
What'd he fetch?
A calf tender and good. And gave it unto a young man. And he hastened to dress it.
And he hastened to dress it real quick, man. You got to get this seasoned up right now. We got visitors. See, there would be no haste if it was taught like it's being taught other ways that you get to hang around. What's the haste if you're going to be here? Dinner will be ready at 9, wouldn't you say? Just stay a while, pull your shoes off, watch a little TV. Dinner will be ready at this time. You're like, no, they got to eat now. We can't let this get past us. They got to fetch it and set it up quick. Go ahead, read some more.
Verse 8. And he took butter.
What'd he take?
Butter. And milk.
And what else?
And milk.
Not milk. We're told not to eat that. We're told, to drink that. Where did this milk come from? Is this breast milk? Maybe it's breast milk. No, I'm just messing with you. But you know what the milk is. Cow's milk, goat's milk, which on the list. If you can eat the flesh, you can drink the milk. Let's read some more. What else to say?
It says, and set it before them. And he stood by them under the tree, and they did eat.
And what did they do? Come on, guys. They did eat. So y'all, we clear on that, but let's just get right into that Jasher 18, because it gets into a little bit more detail, which these lost books do. Now they'll give us day-to-day events. This is kind of skips through the lesson, so to speak, but Jasher gonna break it down again as a second witness. We don't care about them witnesses saying you got to eat this way, because they're not found in the Bible. We're on a meat covenant. If you're not in this covenant, you're not Israel. And that's what these men are slowly doing, because they're calling themselves anything but an Israelite to these days. Listen to what they're calling themselves now. Ebionites, and Nazarites, and Nazarenes, and different things like that. They're out of the Israel because it's a meat covenant that brought you in. You can't have it both ways. Because you can't say you can't eat meat and your covenant based off of your lineage is based off of what we just read here twice, didn't we? And Most High accepted both of them, right?
Yes, he did.
He went through the calf and the fowls that were split to let us know this diet is good to go, both fowl and animal meat that's on the list. And then Abraham prepared the same thing that he approved of in that covenant. He went and told him to get the same thing, didn't he? Go get this, set it out. And they did what? They ate. Let's read some more. Jasher 18. What's going on, Elisha?
You got a question.
Yes, sir. And y'all, what we talking about today, am I y'all's friend? If you gonna be y'all partner, you better do what he say. Because if who you think your friend is just like that boy your mama told you, I don't want you playing with that boy.
Right.
Why, mama? I ain't gonna keep explaining. I told you that's a bad boy. I don't want you playing with. Why? What'd he do? See, and we keep asking. I'm not gonna tell you again. If I catch you playing with him, I'm gonna beat your ass. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
And you know what that friend used to do? Y'all can't come out yet? No, the law in this house say we can't come out till she get home from work. That's 5 o'clock. He know your mama's schedule. That's 5 o'clock. Yeah, you're right. We can't come out till 5. Well, I just got this new watch and I'll keep time for you. I'll let you know when it's 3 o'clock so you can get back in the house. Never told us to break our laws, our mama's law. He just said we'll work around it and twist it so you can get away with breaking her laws and she won't know about it. But guess what? She got off early.
Yeah. Because she was going to let you out until you go get ice cream.
Boy, look here.
Boy, you done messed it
You
up,
done messed
boy.
all that up.
Got a whooping too.
I got off early. Look, and what I tell you, what my
Right.
laws say. And then you repeat them back just like he. You told us not to play with that boy, told us not to come out this house.
Exactly what they were.
You know exactly what finna happen. Go get me something to whoop you with.
Right.
And you better not come back with a soda straw.
No, because they tell you, I'm going to do the choosing then.
Boy, look here.
You got a quick question.
Who got a question?
Kevin Jenkins got a question. He said, the promised land was the land promised to Shem when Noah divided up the land between his 3 sons. Wait a minute, wait a minute.
Right.
Pautiel question, the promised land was the land promised to Shem
No.
when Noah divided up the land between his 3 sons. Abram is the seed of Shem.
No. Read what Cain got. It's called the land of Canaan. Who is Canaan?
Ham's
Ham's son, right? So it's not, he didn't tell that to Shem. He didn't tell him, this your land. No, the land, it belongs to Canaan still to this day. It's still named after that individual. Jerusalem is the surname until the Most High come back, and it's going to be called, the land will be changed to the Lord our righteous. You know why? Because Leviticus 19 tells us we can't change a man's landmark. It's still called Magog and Gog in the Revelations, ain't it? But we call it today, what, China and Russia?
Yes.
But it's still called the land of Magog, ain't it? See, the first 3 boys that got off the ark set the land masses. The 12 tribes set the people moving in and out of those lands with the covenant. If you say that's the truth, then them Edomites over there are the Israelites. You can't have it both ways because they at home, ain't they?
That's right.
And they call themselves Israel, ain't they?
That's right.
And ain't they in the land?
That's right.
So they would be the Israelites if you went off of land mass prophecy versus people mass prophecy, I should say. Abraham's seed was to inherit the entire earth, and we just read the end of 18, the lands from this. And then when you get in Ezekiel 48 and you look at the lots that's passed out, it's reached further than the land of Canaan. Yeah, we took Canaan's land. We took it from them, but they had the lock on the supernatural planet at first, I should say the supernatural land on planet Earth, because whoever rules Jerusalem rule the world. It's the navel of planet Earth.
That's right.
So just like everything is controlled through your navel, you get sick, your navel hurt, right?
That's right.
You hate somebody, what you do? Double over like this, I can't stand. You're rocking back and forth. because it's in the navel. That's the center. That's what umbilical cord at, ain't that? Ain't that how you get fed as a baby?
Yep.
It's the substance of life.
So y'all, we understand who runs Jerusalem rule the world. And that's where the Antichrist seat gonna be at. He ain't gonna take up seat in America.
No.
He's gonna take up residence in Jerusalem. Let's read some more. Where we at?
Reading in the book of...
Did that answer bro a question out there though?
I guess so, I'm saying.
Because no, we don't read that Shem got all of Asia. He got all of this area. When you look at Shem's landmass, it conquered most of what we considered Asia today, or what's considered the Middle East.
Asia Minor.
Or Asia Minor. That entire continent he got. That he said, your people, this the blessed for you, this the landmass. Japheth, you get all of the islands. That's why Japheth controlled all of the islands. Gilligan's Island, he used to. Australia,
Yeah.
those islands that Crocodile Dundee took that from.
Right.
Alaska was an island. That's where the Eskimos used to be.
Right.
Those are islanders, and the Indians came here from Alaska and those islands. They are islanders that was here. They are not Israelites.
That's right.
If you have to tell the people who they are more than they'll accept it, and they got their own covenant here, they got their own Supreme Court. And it says those Negroes are not a part of us. We have our own blood covenant. That's it. Look up the Indian Supreme Court in Oklahoma. And the Hebrews that's saying, y'all owe us, we were service to y'all. Do y'all know the United States government had to tell the Indians to let us go?
Let us go because the Indians would not let the slaves go.
It said we would be oppressed together, not
They had to pay
enslaved to
them.
one
Hold on,
another.
But they had to compensate them.
Yeah.
They had to compensate them to let them go. That's the only way they was gonna let the slaves go. So how you gonna call them Israelites?
And look,
They
we
never
have to keep
heard-
telling them that. They don't never, do they come to our rescue? Was they at the Juneteenth party?
No, hell no.
Hell no.
So that whole Trail of Tears, that was the Indians taking their slaves with them.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And they raped slave women.
They did
They did
everything
everything.
that
That's right. That's how you got.
all our other oppressors did.
That's how you got Indian in you. It's only the blood. I mean, you only point to the hair or the nose.
Yeah.
You don't point to nothing else. Because we're the dominant seed. Whoever gets with us, they become us. We got the seed. The rest of the world don't have it.
That's why they say a quarter of Negro blood you consider the Negro.
That's in the Indians' Constitution. Y'all look up the Indian Supreme Court Constitution. They say if we got our blood in them or any of that, they put you out. Go ahead, sis.
But the Indians, they're not Indians. They're mostly just Mongols.
Well, I mean, you're just calling them that because that's a title that was just given them to them.
But I'm saying when they changed the name of everything, so they
Yeah.
put everybody of color in their place.
Right.
The natives that were light-skinned and noses split and made babies, and the babies looked like they were white or almost, those are Indians.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything that's dark is not Indian.
Well, and we're just talking about Africans are not Indians.
But they were dark.
But they're not Israel either. So that's what we have to be conscious of, that we were first slaves to people 10 times blacker than us.
Right.
You see our Rich back there, Rich, this ain't no stone at you. He will be considered a red bone in Africa. Right back there. They'd be like, where they get this light-skinned Negro from? In Africa.
Hell, I almost didn't see him. He died from that black spot.
Hey, kid you not, because I just had a meeting this morning with some Hamites who was interested in purchasing some piece of artwork from me. Now this Hamite lady was blacker than your shirt.
Oh, boy.
Dude, when I tell you she was blacker than the mask she had on.
Boy.
She made the mask look like.
Yeah.
And it was a black mask.
What is that?
She was purple black.
Look, Jake just...
I mean, black.
Jake just run a clip. Jake run a clip Monday on the Hebrew Israelite show, and it showed this African and this Hebrew was finna fight. He said, "I'm not scared of him. I'm pure African. I came over on a plane. I didn't come over on boats." So listen to what he's saying. I came over on a plane. I didn't come on boat. How long ago did we come over on boats? 400 years ago. So he said way back then, he actually said there's a difference in our blood. We ain't the same people.
Yep.
He said, so I shall be the victor. But he bit off more than he can chew with that Philistine talk. Because that Hebrew got up in there, and I'm talking about he was throwing them Pez type uppercuts. You know that candy we used to pull the head back on? His head was flying back like this. If the ref hadn't got in there, he'd have killed him. Look at Monday Jake's show. If Jake listening, throw the link over there, Jake the 2x, he'll put it up for you. I'm talking about them uppercuts was savage. Made him pay the price for saying he's the pure African and we're not. I came on a plane, you niggas came on boats, and he said, I am not a nigger. This the African that's saying that. In 2021.
So remember what the Hamite said to us when we used to go down to the Red Sea, to the lounge to listen to reggae? Remember what they said to us? He asked us when was the last time we've been back home.
Yeah, when we went back home. Look, and they don't call themselves Africans. Go to any African shop and ask them, you just ask them what nation they come from. They'll say Zimbabwe, Rhodesia, Ghana. They will never say, I'm an African. There's 300 countries in Africa. They tell you what nation they from within Africa.
And they'll tell you they are Hamites.
Give me some of
They
that.
acknowledge their lineage.
Give me some of that ham out of that.
Talking to two of them, I said, y'all Hamites, we Israelites. And the dude said, yeah.
Yeah, he know. They say we know.
Yeah, we know. He said, when was the last time y'all been back to your land?
What was that movie with Wesley Snipes where him and his brother was some dope?
Sugar Hill.
Sugar Hill. Look at that. They called them katas. And Wesley Snipes and his brother, what is kata? He said, you're cotton pickers. And they had to let them have it too. And Wesley Snipes and his brother, Eddie, and his brother was Eddie Kane Jr.
Yeah.
Eddie Kane and Wesley let that Hamite have it.
Oh, yeah, they put hands on.
So y'all, it's not a color doctrine, it's a prophecy doctrine.
That's right.
And certain people gonna be in a prophecy. If somebody else been in slave ships for 400 years and brought over here and last name was changed, then they the Israelites. It's not hard, is it?
I ain't rocket science.
You want that ham?
I want that ham out there. This is out of the Zondervan Pictorial Dictionary. Everybody use it. What it say?
Says Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of the 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor
Or the father.
of the dark races.
Or the what kind of races?
The dark races. Not the Negro.
Not the who?
The Negro. But the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites.
So where would the Negroes, who did they fall under? Because it said not the Negroes. We know we ain't Japheth because we wasn't on no islands.
There's only one other
It
son.
only put us right back in Shem then. Yo, they put the information right in front of us. This is why you will never be able to lie on the devil and say, the devil made me go against your laws, God. Satan don't do what individuals are doing now when they say don't believe the dietary law. Satan has never. Anybody out there, I'm asking y'all to show one place in any scripture where the devil say, God is a liar about his laws. And ain't no judgment day.
And there's-
Anything about tampering with the law from Satan. Go
there's
ahead.
conflict and contradictions all through his law.
Satan ain't never did what these individuals are doing. Because he has to be the accuser of the brethren. How he's going to accuse you of tainted doctrine? Can a lawyer, can a prosecutor accuse you of Bill Cosby just got let out. Yeah. Just got let out. You know why? It don't mean he didn't do it. It's because they broke their own law.
Right.
They promised him we weren't going to prosecute you. All you may have to do is pay a civil fine, give her some money by giving her the pills, Bill Cosby, and we'll let you go home. But they double crossed him. He ended up doing 2 years. But he said, I will never admit to that. Because y'all know what deal y'all made. Now they can't never charge him with that again. Nobody. And that was their last hope.
Yep.
Don't mean Bill Cosby didn't do it.
Second chance.
It's just the law.
Double jeopardy.
The law justifies everything. And if that law on earth is doing that, you can imagine about the Heavenly Father law, because where does his law come from? Thy will be done on where? As it is where? That's the same law, ain't it? Let's read some more. Where we at?
We're going to be reading in the book of Jasher, in chapter 18 and verse 1. And Abraham rose and did all that Yah had ordered him. And he took the men of his household and those bought with his money, and he circumcised them as the Most High had commanded him.
What did he do?
He circumcised them. And there was not one left whom he did not circumcise.
See, Abraham did all the circumcision. Go ahead.
And Abraham and his son Ishmael were circumcised in the flesh of their foreskin. 13 years old was Ishmael when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin.
So this is what y'all need to understand. When somebody try to say 8-day circumcision, that was under Aaron. How was Ishmael getting circumcised? 13?
Yes.
How old Abraham was when he got circumcised?
99.
How old?
99.
99, y'all, when he got circumcised. 8 days out the window, ain't it? Huh? I was 12. I had Fred Sanford walking for about 2-3 weeks. Wide leg walking. But do that get me out of the covenant, or is it just include me in the covenant because we're going back to our covenant father who it was mentioned after they were past 8 days old?
Yeah.
None of these boys were newborns, were they? No. Let's read some more and see who else he circumcised.
Verse 3. And in the third day, Abraham went out of his tent and sat at the door to enjoy the heat of the sun during the pain of his flesh.
During the pain of what?
His flesh.
What flesh y'all think he talking about? His foot? Oh, okay. But he came out of the tent door for the pain of his flesh. So he's walking like Fred Sanford. But he's 99 years old getting circumcised. Look, if it had to be under 8 days only, it was Jacob was Shechem and his boys and his family circumcised at 8 days old. Or was they all circumcised as grown men when Simeon and Levi went in there and killed all of them grown men? And they were brought into the covenant. That's why Simeon and Levi lost the birthright, because they let their father make the covenant with them and they killed them.
But what about all those that went into the promised land with Joshua, and he told them to circumcise them?
There was grown men, wasn't it?
Grown men.
See, y'all, so when we're under this is a priesthood thing. Priests deal with the law differently than what Aaron and his sons did. It's a switch. One corrects the flesh, the other one corrects the mental. Because you know how old Abraham was when he was circumcised in his heart? He was in the house from 3 years old up to 10. He was in the house of Shem. His heart was circumcised.
Right.
And that's what the Most High still look for today, is if your heart is circumcised. You can get a piece of flesh knocked off you in a minute. What does that mean? If you still break the law. Go ahead, bro.
Jesus was talking about in Acts 15.
Yeah.
Shalom out.
Yes. That's why you're saying there's no circumcision or uncircumcision under the order of Melchizedek. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be in the heart.
Right, first
and foremost. It being in the flesh don't mean nothing, because those that were circumcised in the homeland still transgressed, and we were kicked out of the homeland.
Oh, boy, say that again.
Those that were circumcised in the homeland still transgressed, and we were kicked out. So it had nothing to do with the circumcision of the flesh, but they were uncircumcised in heart. That's what Isaiah is always talking about.
And see, y'all, the only difference in Jasher 18 and Genesis said he sat in the heat of the door, right? Same thing.
Yep.
But it didn't mention because he was tender about being circumcised. It mentioned it a few chapters before. You know, it's the same thing, but Jasher is putting it into context for us. So we understand why he was just sitting in the tent door, just chilling. His legs was wide open. Let's read some more.
Verse 4. And the Most High appeared to him in the plain of Mamre, and sent 3 of his ministering angels to visit him.
What he saying?
Sent 3 of his ministering angels to visit him. And he was sitting at the
Just
door of
putting
the
it into
tent.
context, folks.
And he lifted his
So we
eyes and
understand
saw,
why he was just
and
sitting
lo,
in the
3
tent door,
men were
just chilling.
coming
His
from a
legs was
distance.
wide open.
And he rose up and ran to meet them.
What did he do? Let's read some more.
He ran to
Verse
meet them.
4.
And he bowed down
And
to
the
them.
Most High
Right. And he
appeared to
brought
him
them in the
into his
plain
house.
of Manna. And he said to them, and sent 3
If
of his
now I
ministering
have found
angels to
favor
visit
in
him.
your
What he
sight,
saying?
Sent 3
turn
of
in
his
and eat a morsel of
ministering
bread.
Is that what we just read in Genesis?
And he was sitting at the
Go
door
ahead.
and he
Into
pressed
context.
them.
What
And
he do?
lifted his
So we
eyes
understand why he was
and
just
then
sitting
looked
in
and
the
3
tent door,
men
just
were
chilling.
coming
His
from the
legs was
day
wide
their
open.
feet. And he rose up and ran to meet them.
What he do?
And he ran to meet
Yes,
them.
sir.
And he bowed down.
And the Most High
Right.
appeared to
Brought
him
them in the
into a
plain
tender
of
and
Manna.
good.
And
That's
he
the same
said to
language.
them, and sent 3 of his
Go ahead.
ministering
And he
angels.
hastened
What he
to
saying?
Sent
Turn
3 of his
in and eat a morsel of
ministering
bread.
angels.
Is that what we just read in Genesis?
Genesis said he
Go
got to
ahead.
put it into context.
What he do?
So we understand why he was just sitting in the
Three
tent door,
men
just
were
chilling. His legs
coming
was wide open.
and he rose up and ran to meet
What he do?
Right at the tent. But when he saw those 3 angelic beings coming towards him, he hopped up and ran to meet them.
Look here. Take off running. It may have been bow-legged.
But that
But he was
pain,
running. Yeah.
the pain was an
Yeah.
afterthought.
Yeah.
The spirit had kicked in.
Took over that flesh. Go ahead, bro. That's a good point, Elijah. Go ahead.
Verse 7. And Abraham came to Sarah into the tent, and he said to her, make ready quickly 3 measures of fine meal,
Hopped up and ran
kneaded,
to
and
meet
make
them.
cakes
Look here.
to cover the
Take
pot
off running.
containing
It may
the
have been
meat.
bow-legged.
And she did so.
But that
But he
pain
was
was
running.
the
Yeah,
pain
out of
was
the
an
meat.
afterthought.
Containing the left.
The spirit
Containing
had
the
kicked
meat.
in.
Okay, Took go over.
And she
That flesh.
did so.
Go ahead, bro. That's a good point, Elijah. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
verse 7. And Abraham came to Sarah into the tent, milk, and he said to her,
What is
make
mutton?
ready quickly 3 measures of fine meal,
Sheep, goat, whatever it is, mutton. Go ahead. Look here. Take off running. It may have been
and
bow-legged.
gave it before them to eat.
But that
But
pain was
yeah,
the pain
out of
was
the
an
meat.
afterthought.
Containing the left.
The spirit had
Containing
kicked
the
in.
meat. They
Took
did
over.
eat.
Because that flesh the top. So it was go ahead, bro. That's a good point, Elijah.
That's all they're saying. Because Mr. Roach with fire. So it was done, but no blood was in it because he fixed the dress.
What is
When you dress it, all the blood is out of it anyway. You just need to bake it.
or this, what get done, you know, the queen said, so it wasn't sufficiently that we would cook all the way through, but this is haste. We're doing this on the fly. It was sufficient enough for them to eat because there is not about food and drink anyway. It had nothing to do that. They were coming to pronounce a miracle that Sarah gonna have a baby in her old age. Look, we'll do that because you offer that. Let's eat quick and do it. So the meal wasn't set out. There was no table set out. When we're talking about sufficient, all the other stuff to go around. But they ate mutton, beef, milk, butter. And what we're talking about is you can drink milk. We just usually, what is curds and whey? You ever looked up that?
Yeah, that's
Butter and the skim off the top of milk. That's curds and whey. It said the Messiah in Isaiah 11 chapter, he will eat that. That's what he gonna eat. He'll eat curds and whey. So y'all, we have to be careful about what you're talking about that's killing you. Too much water will kill us. You know why? You have water intoxication if you drink water nonstop and don't put them nutrients back in. Well, I'm talking about what you wash out because you'll wash all of your potassium out. Potassium keep you from cramping. What is the heart? What is it called? It's a muscle. If that muscle cramp up, what's gonna happen? That's from water drinking. So it's not that it's not saying water is bad for you. It's just saying too much water is bad for you.
Everything in moderation.
Everything in what?
Moderation.
And that means sufficient for you. 8 glasses of water will kill me. 8 bottles, this, daily. 4, the urine is clean. Why would I go 8 and then it's gonna wash out everything else? Now for a guy maybe 6'5", 265, 8 may be sufficient for him. But you have to know your level. You have to know your level better than anybody because it's your temple. You know what's going on here better than the doctor do. There's a difference when you go to the doctor and you ask him, what's wrong with me? Versus you telling him what's wrong with you. This foot won't act right. It's been doing that since I've been eating them cashews. This foot won't act right. He can tell you two things. Quit eating them cashews, or them cashews conflicting with something else. But you let him know what's going on in your body. Then he diagnosed from your perspective. And if you don't believe me, tell you go get a what? Second what?
opinion.
Second opinion. They even play by the rules. But you don't hear this new get off the meat doctrine giving you a second opinion. Do you? It's only one opinion. Mine. Now buy it. Quit buying that meat. My opinion say, don't go for it no more. Let's read some.
Verse 9. And when they had done eating, one of them said to him.
Well, when they had done what?
Eating. One of them said to him, I will return to thee according to the time of life. And Sarah, thy wife, shall have a son.
What's the time of life? Yeah, boy, y'all quick on that. Well, them boys hollered it quick, then they 9 months. I'll be back in 9 months. That's prophecy, ain't it?
Yeah.
Let's read some more.
Verse 10. And the men afterward departed and went their ways.
So right there we can hold, but if y'all get into all of that, the rest of it, and you get into Jasher 19, you're going to see what happened with Sodom and Gomorrah. And y'all talking about the Freaknik, just read them in the first 2 verses, and you'll see where Atlanta got the Freaknik from. Go ahead, read them in verses 11 and 12.
Verse 11.
Of the same Jasher 18.
In those days, all the people of Sodom and Gomorrah and of the whole 5 cities were exceedingly wicked and sinful against the Most High. And they provoked Yahweh with their abominations. And they strengthened in aging abominably.
Aging. Same thing, go ahead.
Abominably and scornfully before the Most High. And their wickedness and crimes were in those days great before the Lord.
Right.
And they had in their land a very extensive valley, about half a day's walk. And in it there were fountains of water, and a great deal of herbage surrounding the water.
See, what's surrounding the water?
Some herbs.
And they're pretty wicked out there, ain't they?
Yeah.
Is they wicked?
Yeah.
And what's around there?
Herbs.
Let's read some more.
It say herbs and
Herbage.
and berries.
See, so it don't matter about the diet, it's about their behavior. It was so wicked that this all they worried about. And y'all, why they only worry about that lightweight food like that is really low cost. Because you can grow a garden in your basement. You got the right things there, or right in your backyard. You know, if you got a porch, you can put some buckets out there in an apartment and grow it. But you can't grow no cattle in your apartment. You can't pass that off as a pit bull. You know, he just he mixed with bull mastiff. No, that's a cow.
And then it's very low maintenance.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I mean, it's very low maintenance outside of watering and you know, tilling it, you know, cutting off the dead leaves and things of that nature. But outside of that, it's low maintenance. Whereas raising cattle, and you gotta dress them, you gotta feed them, you gotta clean up behind them, you gotta tend to them like a child.
Yeah, you do.
And most of these people don't want no responsibility. They don't even take on the responsibilities of taking care of their own children.
Y'all understand what he's just saying? You want to heal a nation and you can't heal the rift between husband and wife and father and children. Melchizedek, the real skinny black, says it's got an echo going. Y'all hearing an echo at all? Anybody else?
It should be gone now. When I was doing screen sharing, I was getting an echo. That's why I started holding my phone up with the script.
Okay, so we gotta get that figured out. Tobias working with some new software, y'all. He playing around with it, testing it. But we glad y'all are finding the bugs that we need to fix it, and so we'll get that fixed as well, because the new program it got y'all, if it's any way something happened because they closed this building on Christmas Day, so if that falls on the Sabbath, the new program he got, that he can get us 4 in at our regular home, and we can still get the lesson out to the worldwide audience. It just only, we'll be just reading and speaking from different locations.
Right.
But it'll all be on the same screen.
They see it all the time, ain't nothing.
Yeah, well, they know what's out there. We just late on getting it, ain't we?
Right.
Yeah, let's get it.
Verse 13. And all the people of Sodom and Gomorrah went there 4 times in a year.
Where they go?
4 times in a year. With their wives and children and all belonging to them. And they rejoiced there with timbrels and dances. And in the time of rejoicing, they would all rise and lay hold on their neighbors' wives.
What would they do?
Rise and lay hold on their neighbors' wives. And some, the virgin daughters of their neighbors.
Right.
And they enjoyed them.
What did they do?
They enjoyed them.
Right.
And each man saw his wife and daughter in the hands of his neighbor and did not say a word.
Y'all look at this. This what's going on. Y'all talking about a freak me. This been going on a long time.
Yeah, ain't nothing.
This ain't just started.
Nothing new under the sun.
And when you get them in a compound like that with wickedness, that's what happened. You just start passing women around, married or not, because you're locked behind a fence. And you got a leader that claiming he's somebody special. It's just like the Rockadoochies, y'all watch that BET. That's what they're trying to get to where we'll govern ourselves. But it's just gonna be governed with wickedness. Just like BET, when you look at Ruthless, it's about compound living. And somebody calling, they say greater than the Most High and sinning more than, this dude's a homosexual. He don't want no women on the compound. He cleanses the men. And then he watches when 7 men take on 1 woman. Y'all, this the same thing was going on in Dimona. It's the same thing going on with David Koresh. It's the same thing going on with Jim Jones. Because remember in the movie when he told LeVar Burton was asking, man, I want my wife back. She's been in your room for 2 days. And he told that in front of the crowd. You know what Jim Jones said playing, Booth Powell playing Jim Jones? He said, look at the little sissy. You wasn't saying that when I had you bent over last night. To cross it over. And he went his way. David Koresh did the same thing. The man walked his wife to David Koresh's door and he got her pregnant. And then the wife asked him in what was called the time of life. She brought the baby, David Koresh's baby, to her husband. You want to see? He looking, I don't see that baby. I don't know how. She said, Negro. Well, it wasn't a Negro. She said, white man, you took me to the door. You took me in there so he could have his way with me. And now you don't want to look at the baby? This the Lord's baby. And still to this day, that woman was a survivor. She still to this day believes that she has the child of the Messiah, even though she was married to another man. Y'all, this is the mindset when they take you off the scripture. But everywhere we look on TV, everywhere these compound living, how did they end? In destruction, right?
Yeah.
Death. David Koresh burned up. How many Jim Jones killed out there?
Over about 9.
We know what's happening in Dimona right now. So we know what's happening. And then you get a new group saying we finna start one, but we gonna do it better this time. This like a dope dealer saying, I got a retirement plan when I sell crack. The government ain't gonna get me. I'm gonna be able to retire. I'm gonna put a Maybach. I'm gonna put a Ferrari. I'm gonna put all that in Big Mama's name who live in Wellston. And the government ain't gonna know though. I'm gonna be slick. So you think she paying for that on her Social Security check? The government don't know. You Negroes crazy. Where we at?
Verse 15. In the book of Jasher, chapter 18. And they did so from morning to night. And they afterward returned home, each man to his house, and each woman to her tent. So they always did 4 times in a year. Also, when a stranger came into their cities and brought goods with which he had purchased with a view to dispose of verse 16. Also, when a stranger came into their cities and brought goods which he had purchased with a view to dispose of there, the people of these cities would assemble, men, women, and children, young and old, and go to the man and take his goods by force.
Y'all see this jacking going on in Sodom and Gomorrah. You just happen to be going through that city, they come and take all your goods. What you gonna do if you got your supplies ready, you running from the famine? You ain't gonna have no supplies. They say young and old. They were sending young children out there, go up there and act like you asking for a quarter. And then have them turn his back and they would jack you. Yo, we gonna stop there, but if y'all read the rest of this and wait till you get into 19th chapter, you really see when the men was knocking on the door. We want it. And in this book, they told Lot, if you don't send them men out here, we gonna split you in twain.
Right.
You can see the contrast of this between how Abraham greeted his guests and
Yeah.
how they greeted his guests. Even though Abraham was a hospitality minister too much, and these people was the opposite, they were anti-hospitality.
This is what we talk about, anti-hospitality. If you're not responsible for your own dwelling, you're going to be anti-hospitality. You can't invite nobody to nobody else's house. Like me and Ariel coming over, man, his cousin in town, man, can you cook something? Ain't asked him what he got going.
Right.
Ain't none he and his family. Dog, I hear you can throw down on that grill, so I told him it was good. He be like, you done lost your mind, nigga.
Don't believe every damn thing.
So y'all, in like manner, it was a hospital. Real quick, one of y'all give me a Wisdom of Solomon 19, real quick. And it's going to label their crimes as well. Y'all, hospitality, that's when Abraham met Melchizedek, who was Shem at the time. He met him with bread and wine. And the covenant of Melchizedek, that Christ broke bread with the disciples, that put us under the Melchizedek order. At that point, it's the breaking of bread and wine. What to say real quick in 19 Wisdom of Solomon, real quick.
Where you want to start it?
Just right where Sodom and Gomorrah at. Maybe right there.
It said 14.
14, Elijah?
Yep.
Okay, 14, yeah.
Wisdom of Solomon.
Start at 13.
19.
It's 19, ain't it? Is it?
Yeah, 14.
19 and 14, you just said start at 14. Go ahead.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 19, verse
I tell you what, start at 11.
verse 11.
Because this came in the, we're in the Wisdom of Solomon in the Apocrypha, y'all. Real quick, y'all, we just gonna hit this because bruh just mentioned about hospitality. Y'all, hospitality don't mean you have to let everybody in your house. Look, if you don't let them stay, you ain't got to worry about them stealing nothing, is it? But you feeding them and letting them get going. You can't eat all them cattle. You would die before Abraham would have been able to eat all the cattle and goats he had. Pharaoh doubled up on him twice, and then the Lord fattened him up.
But the Most High said, don't give to an ungodly man.
Don't give to him.
Just like he said, cast not thy pearls before swine.
You can't invite Satan in. You can't let him eat at your table. What you think he gonna do? Tell you that was a good meal and he got in his pocket crumbled up bacon bits? Did you taste that flavoring?
You know, where I work there, you know, a couple of brothers and sisters, they catch the bus to the plantation, right? And you know, a lot of times I'm going the way to their bus stop and everything, but you know, I kind of throw little gems around, you know, on break, you know, to see who's receptive of the word of the Most High. And a lot of them, you know, they ignore that. They confess how they love their swine and all. You ain't getting the hell in my car. I don't give a damn if it's just
10 feet away.
no. Go on and walk. I holler. I'll see you tomorrow at work.
Yo, and it has to be that way, y'all.
And I don't want to be
right.
foul towards my brethren, but y'all don't even respect the word. Just the most simple laws of the Most High. You know, and you will profess with and boast how, shit, I love me some swine. I'm gonna eat my swine. So you can only keep walking to the bus stop too.
Right. Right. Because you can't belch in here with the
You
windows
ain't getting in
up.
my car.
Where we at?
The Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 19, verse 11.
What it say?
But afterward, they saw a new generation of fathers. When being led with their appetite, they add delicious meat.
Delicate.
Delicate meat. For quails came up unto them from the sea for their contentment. and punishments came upon the sinners without former signs by the force of thunders. For they suffered justly according to their own wickedness.
What did they suffer justly because of what?
Their own wickedness. And so much as they used a more hard and hateful behavior towards strangers. For the Sodomites did not receive those whom they knew not when they came, but these brought friends into bondage.
What they do?
Brought friends into bondage. That have well deserved them.
And this is what happened, y'all, with all this now. Friends are being brought into bondage right now. Some friends are being let go because, and y'all, we don't want to keep belaboring this, talking about whatever else, but you've been close with somebody that's now flipped the script on you. They was your friend. They was staying at your house. Now they got you in bondage because they telling you you're a lawbreaker. Been in my house like this and now you telling me I'm a lawbreaker? And I done fed you like Abraham. Now you're saying you will feed me the wrong food and you're in bondage right now. Y'all see, this was happening, y'all, when the hospitality is gone. But it's gone because you don't want responsibility. The big R is being dodged here. You don't want responsibility for the laws of God, for your parents, or for your children, or your woman or wife. No responsibility.
That's why
none.
The Essence community didn't have women as part of their community. They didn't believe in the order of family. They just believed in communal living, everyone having something in common. So therefore, they didn't believe in family structure. It was all about communal living. So they didn't partake in. They said that to have a wife was to also to be indulged in domestic situations and issues. And they didn't want those shouldn't be entered into their standard of living. So it's basically no responsibility.
No law.
We don't want to have to be responsible for our wives or women or children.
Right.
Are they still on the earth today?
Yes,
well, you
have
a mindset. I mean, you have brothers.
Compound living.
Compound living.
Explain it to me. Though.
Compound living is like Jim Jones we just talked about.
If you need a woman to recreate, how are they still here today?
The spirit.
Well, like, look, Paul said, I wish every man could be as myself. Messiah was a male virgin. The 144,000 are male virgins. See, there's groups, but what they're doing is they're still having sex. They're just claiming that they're not.
Right.
It's like the Pope, right? He say, you know, just like the Pope, he say they can't marry, their men can't get married. But the only meat they eating is none. I'm gonna leave it at that. Let's read some more of this. Go ahead. Where we at?
Verse 15.
What it say?
And not only so, but pre-adventure some respect shall be had of those, because they use strangers, not friends.
What did they do?
Use strangers, not friends. But these very grievously afflicted them, whom they had received with feasting.
What they received them with?
Feasting. And were already made partakers of the same laws with them.
Could I say something real quick?
Go ahead, bro.
Now, peep this. Peep the consistency of these people.
Y'all hearing what he's saying? Too bad why your forehead wrinkled up.
Look at the consistency of these people and the people like-minded.
Right.
Now, these same people who say they're following the Essene or the Nazarene doctrine or whatever, these are the same ones that also said that you're not to entertain strangers in your assembly. No non-Israelites supposed to be partakers of your assembly.
Right.
Now, these same Israelites that say this and claim this doctrine feasted with Gentiles in our assembly before, were invited to these Gentiles' houses and feasted with them before they came into this so-called doctrine that they are promoting now.
Right.
But you see the track record.
But look at one better, Elisha. The very ones they say can't come around them, they studying these heathens' books.
Now they hold
it don't make sense, do it?
And saying that the source is now a resource, and the heathens book, which they say are not to be a part of the Israelite assembly, are now their source book.
Boy, ain't that crazy?
Confusion of mind.
And that's why it seems to them as the Bible's contradicting themselves, because they're taking outside sources now, and the source may mention the Bible, like this right here. The source may mention the Bible, so they just peep in the Bible for one-liners now. They've lost their training way with the Bible, because the Bible is not going to let you do it. So now they're going back to the Bible, they one-liner. This Egyptology book. Bro, say I want $4 for it. I'll say I'll give you nothing. Know why? Because it says heritage, roster restored. And it says everything in the Bible was taken from this. But to prove their point, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. John 8:32. How in the hell you gonna say everything in here came out here, but then you quote what's in here on your book? This so you will buy bread that don't satisfy. What you got over there, bro?
Like a couple of weeks ago, y'all had this thing about Mary getting betrothed by another guy. There was some book y'all had that somebody else had wrote. And you said the confusion of doctrine. I can see where some people, won't look at this as the truth, because they got other people filling it a whole bunch of BS.
Right.
About Joseph's marriage.
Right.
And then if you really not reading the manuscript and see it firsthand, when you get to that, it would be like contradictory.
Well, it only be because the only way you can get them is if they break the law.
Right.
The law reigns supreme. They can only do it by breaking the law.
And they can't bring law into the conversation because law will separate all that. So they keep the Messiah, which is the law, separate from their doctrine.
Right.
They man-made doctrine.
Right.
Well, man-made doctrine. Absolutely, bro.
So when you take the Messiah out the equation, then you can make it say anything.
Right. But see, every book we use up here, it has to match the law in Exodus 20. It has to match. If it don't match, we close it up.
Book of Enoch, Jasher,
Everything has to add up to these 66.
Like we just reading this matching up to
Look, verbatim, the law is the same.
Right, it
It didn't change till he fixed pigs for him, did it?
Nope.
So y'all, it's consistency with the law. One just fills in detail. See, Genesis don't tell you why the angels was gonna kill Moses on the way to tell Pharaoh to let my people go. Jasher gets in it and tell you what he did, because he didn't circumcise Gershom on the 8th day like he was supposed to. So the Most High said, go kill Moses. He hard-headed. How he gonna go tell Pharaoh what to do and he disobeyed? So Zipporah circumcised Gershom right there, but it was after 8 days. Did it count?
Yes, sir.
Let's read some more, y'all.
Also shows you the importance of the role of that woman.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's the very same Negro that say the woman ain't worth a
2 dead
whatever.
flies.
But if it wasn't for the woman, we wouldn't exist.
Right. It's a man's world, but what?
Wouldn't be nothing without a woman or a girl.
You kill each other. Hey.
Y'all, real quick, the last one, because y'all, we're talking about, am I y'all's friend? The only way you're going to be y'all's friend is to keep his commandments.
That's right.
If you say his commandments are done away with, you can't be his friend. So you can't let his name come out of your mouth in the same breath. That's an oxymoron.
That's right.
Go ahead, Sid.
One of my older neighbors told me that I go to Bible study, she wanted to know what religion is, and I told her, religion is man-made, and we learn about the Bible, and it ain't got nothing to do with no religion.
Right.
So when she said, well, if you right, I don't know why you don't speak to so-and-so, you should speak to everybody. And so I had to tell her, no, you should use them 5 senses that you got. I ain't never been speaking to so-and-so, and so-and-so know why. I don't know why it bothers you. When you do what works for you, I'm going to do what works for me. Because I remember reading Matthew 10 and 14, it was out of the Bible, and told you to go look it up, and then you curse me, I got nothing to say to you.
Well, the only problem is, sis, they figure if you're quoting the Bible, then the Bible has laws, statutes, and judgment. You finna point out something I'm doing. I know you is.
Right.
So I'm gonna beat you to the punch. I'm gonna point out something you doing. See, and that's where the confusion come in, because you're going to law with your brother. But that's not your brother. I understand what you're saying, but that's the reasoning why. You got to look behind and see where this doctrine coming from and why they're making those type of statements toward you. We can hear it right off. We know, oh, he pumping this. Just like this foolishness around here, that's all Malachi York. If y'all Google Malachi York right now, and he's doing 160 years in the penitentiary, by the way, and see, don't it match verbatim with what y'all hearing today. Just look up Malachi York doctrine. Wikipedia, and it's gonna run down. This Negro started with a singing group. Next thing you know, look, he's got on a priest collar, he's got an ark on, he's got a Hebrew shawl on, and a Muslim fez on. He's a mutt. I'm telling y'all, look it up right now, and y'all see the way he dressed. He covering every doctrine.
That's what you call a designer mutt.
Yeah, cross colors, yeah. Where we at? Y'all look up Malachi York, y'all don't y'all see the same doctrine?
Came from Constantine, did Constantine do the same thing? Took all the paganism and
And created it in one, and that's called Catholicism.
Right.
That's what it is, Catholicism. The great whore that sits upon many waters.
Y'all, we gotta pick it up back up, y'all. We're gonna keep moving, y'all. We gotta get going. But y'all look up this, pull this up too, and see, don't you see the same doctrine from this heathen? Let's see where he at. His name is
Tobias.
no. he on point.
Oh, no. There's got to be another Tobias out there. It ain't our brother.
There's this dude called,
He's an imposter.
look up y'all Robert Morrison. Robert, M-O-R-S-E-N-D, and look up Malachi York, and y'all see where this doctrine coming from. Y'all see exactly where it's come from. It ain't no new and you done evolve. Look, the only thing you're gonna evolve to is Satan, because ain't nothing they're talking about before the Garden of Eden.
Shalom.
Ain't nothing before the Garden of Eden. Everything gonna come back no matter what you doing. So it's old doctrine. It's after the Babylonian split doctrine. Ain't nothing new. You ain't evolving, and now you're evolving more into witchcraft. You learning the ways of witchcraft, what we were taught not to learn. We was told to learn the wiles of the devil, how he would trick you, not practice what the devil practices. Learning the wiles, no, that's Freemasonry, man. They're gonna have you blindfold you, and they're gonna put this on you. They're gonna tell you, swear that you'll get your tongue cut out by his roof if you reveal stuff. See, that's what it means, let no corrupt communication come out of your mouth except it be for edifying. We have to tell you how the devil gonna trick you. That's corrupt communication. This is what he gonna say to you, except it be for edifying. Then you can talk about the devil. But you can't practice what the devil do and then tell us. Yeah, see, I did, unless you're out of it.
Right.
I practiced that. I conjured up demons. I played with crystals, and man, it killed me. Man, I almost died had it not been for the Most High. I'm out of that. I'm through with exotericism. And that's how you speak on wicked things. Not practice it and slip it in with get out cup bowls and hexagrams everywhere, and then show me a molecule of water. What the hell do I care about any of that? What does that got to do with salvation and your flesh getting in there? Do you think the Most High gonna look inside of you and see if he see molecules, or is he gonna look at Judgment Day and say, you a liar and you a thief? And those molecules in you are perfect, but you a liar and you a thief. Right?
Yes.
Let's keep beating, y'all. Let's get some more of this. Go ahead, who got something? Who had something?
The elder sister,
Sister, you had something, you good?
No.
Sister, she good. Who got something?
she was,
Sister all the way in the back. Sister Angela.
did you?
Can't hear you.
Do they preach? Well, The deal is, if you're looking at Acts 18, Apollos, and they can't teach in the assembly. Understand this? This is an assembly. Can y'all comment? Yes, y'all can, but you can't sit up here because even it wasn't 13 disciples. It wasn't the 12 brothers and Mary Magdalene. That don't mean y'all can't spread the word to anybody, because we got Aquila and Priscilla that was tag team.
That's right.
You know, we got Deborah and Ruth who were judges. You know, we have Miriam, Aaron's and Moses' sister, was a prophetess. So they speak the word of God, but they can't teach the assembly because it takes away from the structural order, because the order was the Most High came down and talked to Moses. Moses told it to his family, and then they told it to the children. That's how the order goes. 1 Corinthians 11 still, no matter how that goes, but when you're talking about assembly, now within the assembly, they can do things, but the reason he's saying don't allow them to do that, because Satan will get at a woman real quick and she'll ask questions about your bedroom. Should he be doing this with his toenails and jelly at night? You know, and you be like, what? What's going on? What's going on? Because look, y'all, look, it's some dangerous stuff, boy. I heard about it. Look here. But look, y'all, this is why you can't let nobody into your household. This the real deal about it, because when you break up, the first thing they do is talk about your bad behavior in the bedroom.
Yep.
Oh, I ain't think about that nigga with his old love to do that with peanut butter ass. Wait a minute. And what do he say about her? So what you're saying about is you're displaying the bed is defiled, not undefiled, because you're bringing in bad practices to make it more pleasant to you. It's not pleasant. It's at that time you may have fun and get off like you getting off, but in the morning when you wake up, your conscience gonna be clear, and you'll look at each other and you're like, what we did last night, shit, we need to find somebody's church. I want y'all to think about this. There's nothing that go on in your bedroom with a married couple that if they told somebody else, you're concerned about it. But these men, because they're doing things to seduce women and ain't no marriage ceremony, that's what happens. So you're only doing the quick fix. It's the only thing you can talk about. Every time you come over, they come over here with Hennessy and sunflower seed, and the next thing I know, I'm naked. See, that's a problem. You said every time. When is it gonna be somebody there talking about and tell the whole world y'all married? Y'all can't keep getting married at 2 a.m. What's going on, bro? What? That's what I hear, bro. Now you can try it. But salt and Hennessy don't work for me. But let's pick it back up, y'all. We losing time here. Yeah.
So she good with that?
But since that's all it is, that's what the scripture tells us. It don't tell a woman that they can't say nothing. It said let them just be silent. But in that same assembly in 1 Corinthians 14, if a man speak in tongue and there's not a witness there to interpret her, it said let him keep silent in the assembly. Right. So it's times when they tell a man, you got to shut up. You can't just be blab. You can't blabble out Hebrew and ain't no interpreter there.
Right.
But women can teach women.
Women can teach women. Say teach the younger women to be in her. Now look. Now when you go out in the streets or you go over to a couple's house, then everybody's kind of joining in because it's not within the assembly setting. Right. Like Apollos and Aquila and Priscilla. How they both took about. I say they both took him to the side. They wasn't in the assembly. Right. They took him to the side and they showed him a more excellent way. And she didn't break 1 Corinthians 11. He was like, you know, Apollos, you need to hit this. She's like, baby, tell him about that Isaiah 32. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, that Isaiah 32. He would still break it off, but she ain't pulling the Aunt Esther. Shut the hell up. You always talk and don't know what you talk about. See, Apollos, let me break it down to your woman that knows how to teach the Bible. Right. But she didn't broke her man down. That's what it's talking about. You can't, it says you can't usurp authority. And authority is in the assembly. The men have to teach the class to keep the structure in order. But outside of the assembly, it ain't no head covering or covering up or uncovering outside of the assembly. That ain't written. But in the assembly, there has to be structure that you all together, that you be of one mind.
And if you notice in that 1 Corinthians 11, it starts out with Paul saying, I am passing down an ordinance that was given unto me by Christ. So when he says a man praying and prophesying with his head covered dishonoreth his head, meaning he dishonoreth Christ because Christ is the high priest.
That's right.
So when one tries to use Leviticus 26 in this matter, it don't apply because Christ is the head high priest, not Aaron. So when you are praying and prophesying with your head covered, you're dishonoring the high priest.
That's right.
Which is Melchizedek.
That's right.
That's an ordinance. That's not just a suggestion. He gave an ordinance, and he's passing on the same order that he received to be under the order of Melchizedek and getting away from the order of Aaron.
Right. And understand what that means. Adam was still in control under Melchizedek. Even though Eve was given her commandments too, Adam was still in charge. But they were equal in the mental. That's why they all got separate punishment for each one of their crimes. They were separate punishment. Adam didn't get what Eve got. They all was in the same crime, right? But each one of them got different punishment. Why is that? What you got back there, Thomas?
Titus chapter 2, verse 1 through 5. But I'll read verse 4.
Yeah.
Verse 3. The aged women likewise, that they be in behavior as becoming holy, not false accusers, not giving too much wine, teachers of good things.
Teachers of what?
Good things. Verse 4, that they may teach the young women to be sober and to love their husbands, to love their children.
But see, this is talking about the aged women. So what's the young women teaching? 1 Corinthians 7. It run it down for them. You be in your father's house, be a good girl. Don't bring your belly swole back up like a watermelon in your daddy's house. He'll have to spit in your face. Because it's disrespectful. Go ahead, bro.
Casey Fields asks, when does a woman stop teaching her son? He says, since there are a lot of single mothers out there.
When did he stop teaching her?
When did she stop teaching her son?
When he leave the house. Right. He should leave his father and his mother. Other than that, he's under her rules. Trash still had to be taken out. You still gonna make up that car bed you had that I bought you when you was 5 that you still sleeping in. Put them speed racer covers up and pluff that pillow. You still under rules.
But she'll always be a reference to his life.
Right.
Absolutely. Because of the 5th commandment. Honor thy father and thy mother till their days be long on the earth. A bad son, even when he gone, could disrespect his mom.
That's right.
She don't want to hear her son doing that out in the streets. You wasn't raised like that. The problem is when a woman try to usurp authority and say, I'm your daddy and I'm your mama. No, you're not.
That's right.
No, you are not.
She can teach him how to be an adult.
That's it. But you can't teach him how to be a man. Because she don't have what it takes to teach him how to be a man. She could explain to him, if your father was like this and he died, or your grandfather like this, he would tell you, this is what a man's supposed to do. He takes care of the needs of his woman. That's why he's called man. Meeting all needs, M-A-N. Not her wants, but her needs. That has to go first. Shelter, clothing, and food. Now she want her nails and hair done, she got to get that want money herself. And that's like Proverbs 31. She starts her own business. Ain't that what Proverbs 31 says? She the virgin. She said her husband has no problem. He ain't got no spoil for her. She know how to handle her business. She handle her business and bringing in more for the household.
Right. So she has a little side business that she does. She's not just at home or stay at home, watch the children, mother. She has other things
Stay
that
barefoot.
she's involved in. And she's managing not only the children, the well-being of the household, but she's also got a little side business going on that's keeping her occupied.
Yes, sir. While he out in the field. But see, we got a flip script now. We ain't got a M-A-N out here meeting on knees. We got M-A-N mooching ass niggas that put their woman to work and grab 4 of them and tell them, y'all get out there to work, which is just a form of spiritual pimping. Get out there and bring that money back to me. Your Lord.
Put it in my
P-I-M-P, put it in my pocket. And then they hooked on that chain of fools.
They all in the back.
Went back like this. Chain. And y'all look at the lyrics of that. I thought you were really a M-A-N, but you're a M-A-N. And I'm just a fool hooked on this chain with the rest of these heifers. Chain of fool. And a fool is without the knowledge of the Most High. Let's read some more, y'all. Let's get this call back up. I hope we answered them questions.
You want to finish that 19? Again?
No, we good on that. Y'all read that on your own time. Y'all get into that. But I want to get right to, since we am a friend of y'all, if you keep his commandments like Abraham did, now we want to see how brethren have to be friends, because we have to be friends down here first before we go to the Most High and tell him we his friend. How you can't get this who you going to be with starting out at 1,000 years? If you can't do this for a weekend, what the hell you gonna do with 1,000 years? We're going to Sirach chapter 6. Yo, and this gonna tell us so we don't call every man your friend. Just cause you meet somebody, man, this my partner. Guess what happened? You be arguing with your partner and he'll be talking about you on Facebook now.
This also goes with those who think
We start at 6.
Verse 1.
Try the spirit of every man.
What it say like you do?
Says shalom and ak don't necessarily mean it's good for you. Satan know how to say shalom and ak too.
Sure do.
He know the scriptures better than all of us. How do you think he can accuse one? He has to know how to accuse one.
And he can't accuse you with if the law is tampered with. You think the Most High don't know Satan is coming to him lying on you? That ain't never written in the Bible anywhere. He asked the Most High, I bet if you take that head from him, he'll curse you to your face. What curse you to your face and do to the Lord? That means you don't love him anymore. Because you hate him if you curse him to his face because he take my goodness. That's what these Negroes are doing. Because they feel the Lord done turned his back on them. No, y'all turned y'all back on him. Y'all dibbling and dabbling, and y'all married to him because y'all say his name in Hebrew, and then you out there bent over for Christian. Getting jelly put in your rear end by Buddha.
By Buddha.
Look, y'all better get into some Sirach 19th chapter and you'll find out. Look, because they talking about grapes. Grapes make what? Do I need to say anymore? And jam. Let's get at it, y'all. Sirach chapter 6.
All right, family, we're going to be reading in the book of Ecclesiasticus, or Sirach in the Apocrypha. Chapter 6, we're going to start our reading in verse 1.
Yes, sir.
Everybody there? Let's get some understanding, family.
Yes, sir.
Let's get it.
Instead of a friend, become not an enemy.
Right.
For thereby thou shalt inherit an ill name, shame, and reproach. Even so shall a sinner that hath a double tongue.
See, instead of a friend, become not an enemy. Look, before you even become friends with anybody, stay solo by yourself. Because if you become an enemy, that's worse than being by yourself and don't have no friends.
Right.
If you ain't got no friends, ain't nobody still looking for you. But if you become an enemy, somebody calling you threatening, ain't there? Mm-hmm. No enemies get threatened all the time, or they put out threats. Yep. So instead of a friend, become not an enemy. Let's keep first things first. Be not an enemy to nobody. Our only enemy is Satan and his demons. All this other stuff men talk, that ain't personal with us. Them ain't our enemies. Them haters of the Most High, they ain't got nothing to do with us. They hate his word. We didn't write it, did we? Nope. They don't hate us, they hate the Most High. That's who they are attacking. They're attacking his word. Them ain't Elijah and Ariel and Nat Turner words that we speak in Israel. So they don't hate us. It's just like in 1 Samuel 8. They said, Samuel, they ain't at you, they at me. They want another king. They don't want me to be their king no more. And they want Buddha to be their king now. And Hare Krishna to be their king. And Pharaoh to be their king. They don't want the Most High to be their king no more. They think they fool the Most High by saying his name. Hallelujah. No, sound like Tyler Perry's your king now. Because that's how he say it, don't it? Hallelujah.
Yeah,
Where we at?
But it's like, you know, what we just, what we was just exposed to, that now Yeshua's supposed to be healing with crystals.
Yeah. That's up.
That's the latest thing now.
In India.
In India.
What's that crystal?
That
Yeah.
the Hamashiach was healing with crystals and gems.
He didn't have that right. Right. So all that casting out demons was with what?
So this is coming from the same nigga?
Yeah.
Oh, this the new shit.
Yeah,
No,
that's
that's
the
coming out of
latest.
that book.
They also saying that Christ, Hamashiach went to Egypt to learn.
Right, and yeah,
He did what?
he went to Egypt to learn.
Look.
He went to Egypt to learn. Yeah, that's what that Peshitta says.
Look, what they're doing is trying to use this to where Moses was raised in Egypt. He grew up in Pharaoh's house. We're raised in America, so we learn America ways. We're just not told to do their wickedness, right? But we're born here, we're American citizens. Paul was a Roman citizen, but he didn't do what Rome was doing, did he? So that's what we have to understand. Joseph was raised in Egypt, but he didn't do none of the wickedness. They had their own soothsayers. Joseph was let out of prison because the Most High was working with him, and he could interpret dreams through the Most High. So he didn't learn that what he did is superseded their wicked. Just like Moses, they showed him their daily process, but Moses wasn't worshiping the devil. There's nowhere in any right that Moses, in any of these rights, that Moses bowed down to Baal, to any one of them. He always knew who he was.
Matter of fact,
Always.
he killed, put to sleep 3,000 Israelites that was bound down to Baal.
Yes, sir. So it's just a play on words. It's just like saying Urim and Thummim is going to the witch of Endor. It's not the same thing. The witch of Endor didn't use Urim and Thummim, nor did she use dreams and visions that this is the way you communicate with me.
Can I read this right quick?
Go ahead, bro, read that.
Because what we got going on here is people trying to introduce another Christ to us.
That's what they doing.
This 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 1 through 4.
Yes, sir.
Would to God ye could bear with me a little in my folly, and indeed bear with me. For I am jealous over you with godly jealousy. For I have espoused you to one husband,
Right.
that I may present you as a chaste virgin to Christ.
That's right.
But I fear, lest by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve through his subtlety,
Right.
so your mind should be corrupt from the simplicity that is in Christ. For if he that cometh preacheth another Jesus, whom we have not preached, or if ye receive another spirit, which ye have not received, or another gospel, which ye have not accepted, ye might well bear with him. Should I keep going?
No, you got to keep going because look, you might as well bear with them because you're going to be chasing the same doctrine they chase. Bread that don't satisfy, it don't satisfy them. You know why? Because in that same book it say you can only have one wife and you got to acknowledge Joseph is the dad. You know how they get around that one? They break that one too and say, well, I just came into a new covenant with all my wives and just made them one. Slick. But they ain't slick enough. They only slick if we go away and they plant doubt up here. Seeds of doubt up here. That's the only way they can get you because it's out front already. Satan never, ever, in any writings, ever tell you to break the law. He deceives you into believing that God don't love you like he say he does. Look at what he did to your child. Your child didn't do nothing, he killed. Look at what he's doing to these innocent cows. And he's having you kill them. It's Hindu doctrine. That's why they worship the cow and the rat over there.
Right. All the species of the earth.
That's why Harry Carey, the Chicago sports announcer, holy cow! What do you think a holy cow is?
Right. So if that's the case, everything is holy of the Most High, which everything he created was good for. It has its purpose. However, if
You can't worship. Yeah.
if you go with that mindset, then you can't smack a mosquito.
No, you can't.
You can't do that.
Look here, who killing
That's
all
the
that?
Most High's precious animal.
That's right.
creation. Don't kill it. Let them bite you.
That's right. And that thing with the tail on it just ran behind the stove. You better not have a sticky trap back there.
You
better not
an
kill.
innocent animal.
But you know, he's saying he could talk to the, he could commune with the
Yeah,
with the
Dr.
birds.
Doolittle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hold on.
Don't you sting me.
I missed that one. He said,
Boy, look here, y'all. It's just called waxing worse and worse. Y'all, we ain't got to get into it because y'all ain't heard nothing yet.
You too high off them psychedelics.
Y'all ain't heard nothing yet.
mushrooms. He got the magic mushrooms.
I was watching some on YouTube. They got people over the street in India, and they straight got cows peeing in the trough, and they just walk past and take the pee and just like
Yeah, they bathe in the urine. Yeah. Yeah. They bathe in urine. Now mind you, Martin Luther King loved Gandhi.
Yeah.
Gandhi couldn't stand Negro.
Boy, say it again.
Hated Negro.
Say call them mud people.
Say they the nasty. He said Negroes are the most filthiest people on the earth. But have you seen India? Them nasty,
Yeah.
sexual.
Yeah.
Man, they got so many diseases and walking. They just walking famine.
Yeah.
Disease and
Yeah.
pestilence.
Jelly sandwiches.
They have a holiday where the men dress up like women.
Dad, you gotta get off the jelly.
Look, they brought that up, man. I didn't bring it up. They say Christ wasn't eating fish, not to cut it off. So they say those was jelly sandwiches.
What?
Boy, look here, y'all ain't seen nothing.
Wait, what you said, Jimmy?
It said it wasn't fish, it was clusters of grape that was made like jelly sandwich.
But see, this is the problem. If Christ was a Nazarite, he couldn't eat from anything from the vine. The grapes grow on the vine. What else grow on the vine? Watermelon. You can't eat watermelon.
Boy,
Watermelon grows on the vine. Cucumbers.
That boy perked up.
Okra.
Look, that boy perked up when you
Matter of
said
fact, spinach grows on the vine.
Yes, sir.
You can't eat none of that. Give it up.
A true Nazarite, look, but that's only according to Numbers 5th chapter, not according to some heathen book they found late in the 2021. Y'all, we ain't gonna belabor on that, y'all. We gonna get back to what makes us a friend to y'all.
Right, let's get it back.
Y'all, we gonna get back to that because that's not making us a friend, that's making us an enemy.
Right.
Anytime you teach somebody his laws is done away with or they're contradictory, that's a problem because Matthew 5:17, the Messiah say any man that teach that
Should be called the least.
or never get into the kingdom of heaven. If you teach it. Yes, sir. Now look, and then he say the law is done away with, but he keep the tithing law. Flim flam artists, y'all. It's just Hebrew Christianity, all y'all hearing. They just a dog returned back to their vomit. They're back at the starting point before they came and found truth. One didn't believe in the Messiah. They said Jesus wasn't supposed to be in the Bible. The other one come back with signs in the middle of his head, and he was into strange Buddhism. Then they just made a full circle back to square one and starting over again. So they're fishing through the Bible like they was before because Most High snatch your understanding. You think you're gonna talk about me and my law and gonna spread this doo-doo around the world? Oh no. Y'all won't get no understanding of this. That's why I'm confused. Yes, you are. Because the tampering is up here. It's not here. It's up there. Let's get some more of this, y'all. We got to get caught up, y'all. We got but a good hour.
The book of Sirach, chapter 6 and verse 2.
What it say?
Extol not thyself in the counsel of thine own heart.
In thy own what?
Own heart, that thy soul be not torn in pieces as a bull straying alone.
See, and that's what happened when doubt sets in. You're like a bull straying. You don't know what to believe. Y'all, if you don't believe this from Genesis to Revelation, your job is to, if you hear something, then you have to go to work. You're a guardian. You're carrying his name. That's like if you had Carpenter, if he had a son and they don't follow behind, he do. Don't pick up no nails. Leave wood pieces everywhere. You're disrespecting your father's name. It's his authority and his business. It's like a lawyer can come in the name of you. He can represent you at court. He's actually you in court. He's just speaking for you. But he has full authority of your name. It's not that he had to pull out ideas and say, Your Honor, I was Johnny Cochran, but I've changed my name to Elijah ben Israel for this occasion. It don't mean it like that. It means he's coming in the authority of. That's what the name is. Anybody talk about the name of another God, we hear, oh, you talking about that God over there, huh? What you got, Getty?
I just walked in with Shalom first time, but it sounds like you're speaking on power of attorney.
That's what I'm speaking of, Getty. You know what I'm talking about. That's another name for it, that you give over power of attorney. That means you can speak for me on behalf. You tell them what I tell you. But you ain't in court, are you? Let's read some more, y'all. Let's get back in this, y'all. We can't stop no more. We got to get going.
Verse 3. Thou shalt eat up thy leaves, and lose thy fruit, and leave thyself as a dry tree. A wicked soul shall destroy him that hath it, and shall make him to be laughed to scorn of his enemies. Sweet language will multiply friends.
What will multiply friends?
Sweet language will multiply friends. And a fair speaking tongue will increase kind greeting.
Yes, sir.
Be in peace with many, nevertheless, have but one counselor of 1,000. If thou wouldest get a friend.
If thou would do what?
Get a friend. Prove him first.
You got to do what?
Prove him first. And be not hasty to credit him.
Look, or you gonna be in the same position. Oh, this my comrade. You didn't prove him first, did you?
Right.
Now he's your enemy, right?
Yep.
Let's read some more.
Verse 8. For some man is a friend for his own occasion.
For his own what?
Occasion.
See, that's what we're talking about, a warlock, an opportunist. I'm your partner to see what I can get out of you.
Fair weather.
Fair weather friend. Long as the sun's shining, we partners. But if it's storming and raining, don't call here. And I know it personally about phone calls. Let's read some more.
Verse 8. For some man is a friend for his own occasion, and will not abide in the day of thy trouble. And there is a friend who, being turned to enmity and strife, will discover thy reproach. Again, some friend is a companion at the table.
At the what?
At the table. And will not continue in the day of thy affliction. But in thy prosperity, he will be as thyself, and will be bold over thy servants. If thou be brought low, he will be against thee, and will hide himself from thy face. Separate thyself from thine enemy.
Please read that again.
Separate thyself from thine enemy. And take heed of thy friends.
And take heed of thy friends. Give me Psalm real quick, 139, 21, and 22.
And family, I guess the second witness to that is in the 66th book. Do not be unevenly yoked.
Yes, sir. And you'll be unevenly if you're talking a non-balanced diet.
Yep.
Psalm 139. Is that it? Perfect hatred? That's what I want.
You got it? What?
Start at verse 19.
Psalms 139, verse 19.
What it say?
Surely thou wilt slay the wicked, O Yahweh. Depart from me, therefore, ye bloody men. For they speak against thee wickedly.
Who they speaking against wickedly?
Most High.
Yes, sir.
And thine enemies take thy name in vain. Do not I hate them, O Lord, that hate thee? And am not I grieved with those that rise up against thee?
Right.
I hate them with perfect hatred.
Right.
I count them mine enemies.
See, I count them my enemies because perfect hatred is not player hate. Perfect hatred don't get personal. You don't take personal shots at anybody. What you do is the shots at bad doctrine. We're not talking about individuals. If individuals get on that, they just got on that bad doctrine wagon that we're talking about. We don't name individuals. We don't have to. We're just telling you if that doctrine is being preached, watch that bad doctrine because it's an enemy of God if it tells you to break his commandments and don't trust his laws, statutes, and judgments. That's your enemy. It ain't no way around that, is it? And this just told us to separate from who? You got to separate from there. In following that doctrine, you have to let Satan in your life.
And folks think I take it when I speak to them in the authority of the Yahweh. I say it's Titus 1:13. Rebuke them sharp, common, that they may be sound in the doctrine.
But if they don't want to be sound, you have to call them an enemy and cut them off.
Yep.
Because the first and second ammunition, you have to cut it off anyway. If you go to a house and shake if they don't listen to you, shake the dust off your feet, it said it'd be worse for them than Sodom and Gomorrah in Judgment Day. Why do you keep trying to make 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 videos about these individuals? What we're talking about is 1:10:4. In the latter days, some will come teaching doctrines of demons and devils, abstaining from me, commanding to abstain from meat.
Forbidding to marry.
Forbidding to marry. Legally. Where we at, y'all? Let's get
Verse
back
14.
in there. We gotta roll, y'all. We gotta roll.
A faithful friend is a strong defense.
What is a faithful friend?
A strong defense. And he that hath found such an one hath found a treasure. Nothing doth countervail a faithful friend, and his excellency is invaluable. A faithful friend is the medicine of life.
What is a faithful friend?
The medicine of life.
Yes, sir.
And they that fear the Most High shall find him.
Y'all see that? Who fear the Most High shall find the faithful friend. And then you don't have to be in war cussing people out personally and making enemies of people that'll come to your house and shoot you up or something like that. Our enemy is the devil, and he visits you in your dreams. Well, you can't have a friend that help you but the Most High in your dreams, because you got to call on him. I can't call on you, Elijah, when that witch riding me in my dream.
Oh, no, don't call me.
Elijah!
Don't call me.
And then the world used to call Ghostbusters. Then they be antidepressant. Like a friend is medicine. They go to Walgreens for a prescription.
Yes, sir. Let's get this, y'all.
Verse 17. Whoso feareth the Most High shall direct his friendship aright. For as he is, so shall his neighbor be also.
See, and that's what we'll stop there. Give me Sirach 37 while we're there real quick, 1-5. You know, but this is why, y'all, we need to understand it's a prove him first. Everybody ain't your partner, y'all. That don't mean you can't know nobody you work with. But the bottom line is to come into fellowship with. You cannot have an enemy of God in fellowship. We got cousins that's Muslim and different things like that. You just can't go to the mosque with them.
Right.
You can't go to church, to the pastor's anniversary with them. It's a different doctrine. You don't get no anniversary in this. It's to the casket drop. And how many years you gonna keep counting? You don't get no celebration. What it say in 37:1?
Where you at?
Sirach.
So, yeah.
Sirach chapter 37, verse 1. Every friend said, I am his friend also. But there is a friend which is only a friend in name. Is it not a grief unto death when a companion and friend is turned into an enemy? O wicked imagination, whence camest thou in to cover the earth with deceit? There is a companion which rejoiceth in the prosperity of a friend, but in the time of trouble will be against him.
Always happy when you get, man, I heard you got to raise a job. Man, I heard this, man, I heard this. Because you know it's going to be set out.
That's right.
But if he say, man, them heathens fired me the other day. I'm finna call you. I'm texting you now. I'm going to call you. And the phone don't get picked up. You got fired. You can't set it out no more.
Right.
Why should I pick up the phone now? Go ahead, bro.
Verse 5. There is a companion which helpeth his friend for the belly.
For the what?
For the belly. And taketh up the buckler against the enemy. Forget not thy friend in thy mind, and be not unmindful of him in thy riches. Every counselor extolleth counsel, but there is some that counseleth for himself.
What he do? Counsel it for who?
Himself.
I.e., he's got a different agenda.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Go ahead.
Beware of a counselor, and know before what need he hath. For he will counsel for himself.
What he gonna do?
Counsel for himself. Lest he cast the lot upon thee.
Going
and
down
say
the
unto
team.
thee, thy way is good, and afterward he stand on the other side to see what shall befall thee.
Yo, this is people lure you into signing your name on something and you don't know what the hell going on and you sign it over to them. You sign your name on documents you should. And then he'll say, I didn't think you was gonna sign it. You should have read it, absolutely.
Or convincing one to get into the sovereignty laws paperwork and present him in court on his behalf and sit in court to watch the judgment that's come against that person presenting those sovereignty papers like they did.
Right, and you say, oh shit, that didn't work. He going to jail. Yes, he's going to jail. You can't buy no disc off of the internet for $13 and think you're gonna go up into the United States courthouse and take over. My name is in all capitals, Your Honor. Rusty the Bailiff. Give him some cool off time. Where your army at gonna stop Rusty the Bailiff? Bail set at $1 million. Is there a bail? Is there a bank of sovereignty that you can call up? They got me locked up here, y'all. I'm trying to promote this doctrine that belongs to somebody else. I'm trying to run America out of the state. Who got some bail money? Nobody got bail money for it. What you got, sis? Hold on, get it.
In the Daily Mail, same thing you're talking about. Police arrest 11 people in Shreveport Woods after heavily armed sovereign citizen militia fled during traffic stop. They got them and they all put them in jail.
That was in the Daily Mail this morning. A sovereignty group walking down the highway with guns and pistols and got sovereignty papers in there. Tomorrow, we ain't under the laws of America.
Thy way sounds good. Oh, you can get around the law.
Check. Yeah. Send backup and a helicopter. Click it.
That's the straw man with the capital letters. That's not you. Don't it sound good?
Sound good, but they
But you going to jail.
You going to jail, it don't work.
It don't work.
Martha Stewart went to jail and she's a billionaire. She could have used it. John Gotti then went to jail and they got tons of money. They could have used it. Trump's lawyer just went to jail. He could have used it. But they know better. Once you opt out, you're out. You can't sneak back in and have a baby and tell her to get food stamps. You out. See, this is what we're talking about, y'all, the flim flam move. How you married and let her get food from another man and you saying we're not part of this because of sovereignty.
But you still eating?
This man feeding her. Who's her husband?
The government.
Oh.
The government runs that household.
Yeah.
Because if the government cut off all them food stamps and that check, that little card.
The card he got in his wallet.
Right. With her name on it.
You got the card.
What, or calling at the cashier, what's the PIN number?
What's the PIN number to the government? Who we fighting against? Come on, y'all, we gotta roll. What you gotta get? We gotta roll.
I'd be remiss because Big Bro, Yahshua locally known as Christ Jesus said, do not worry when you go before the magistrate.
Right.
If it's a righteous thing.
That's right.
You know, and I am no power of attorney.
That's right. Look, because you don't, if you're not done anything wrong, there's no reason to plead guilty.
Right.
Is it?
No, I got a plea bargain.
Look here, you can't get a plea bargain if you're not guilty.
Verse 10. Consult not with one that suspected thee, and hide thy counsel from such as envy thee.
See, you can't be in counsel with somebody that already been talking about you on the side. How is your partner? You been saying, man, this nigga crazy. But he's my partner. See, and then now you're getting consulting from it. See, y'all, this is the book of life. This is the book of life. It tells us how to walk and who to choose as a friend. If you want that friend to be with you, Abraham, and the father and son in a kingdom, then y'all got to walk the same path. Or you're going to be in a kingdom of destruction. We're going to hold that license. Y'all, I want to get right into now the foes of Yah and can never be his friend. And y'all, we're going to see some stuff get pieced together here once again. Give me Isaiah 30:1 real quick, and we're going to see who the Most High's enemies are. Y'all, see, the flim-flam move is say you want to go back to Egypt to get something to eat. No, it's spiritual eating though. That's what the scriptures say. Look, we have to eat or we gonna die. So it ain't that. It's talking about going back down there to get knowledge of old knowledge. When Moses threw his staff down, it ate it up. Even though he watched all of the magicians be around, y'all, just like we do now. Who the president right now? Look, all the only reason I'm saying that because he has a preacher when he get in his inauguration or whatever, a priest stand before and bring, that's the first thing they do. They go to the church and the priest anoint it, right? Yeah. So if you're part of the cabinet, just say you work for the government, you just under that you just work for them. Shadrach, Meshach, and a bad Negro worked in Babylon in corporate. Yeah. Are they witch doctors? No, because when the question came to y'all got to bow to when y'all hear the sack button, the psaltery, and all kind of music, they say, no, we're good. We don't bow this butt to nobody, not the sack butt either. Where we at? Yes, sir. Let's pick it up, y'all. We got to speed on through this, y'all.
Isaiah chapter 30, verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children.
What is a woe, y'all? Go ahead.
Saith the Most High. That taketh counsel, but not of me.
See, when you say the laws is done away with, you're not taking counsel from the Lord anymore because his counsel is his law that instructs you what right and wrong is, right?
That's right.
They don't want to take counsel for that no more. I wouldn't trust that Leviticus 11. That's not taking the Lord's counsel anymore on the diet. Go ahead, bro.
Confusion. Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Most High, that taketh counsel, but not of me, and that covered with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. That walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt.
Let's see what's going to be they trust. Go ahead.
Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame.
What is it going to be?
Your shame. And the trust in the shadow of Egypt, your confusion.
I'm confused. It's confused because you in Egypt. Your shame is showing. Let's read some more.
For his princes were at Zoan, and his ambassadors came to Hanes. They were all ashamed of a people that could not profit them, nor being helped, nor profit, but a shame and also a reproach. So we can hold up, y'all read all the rest of that, and y'all see right there, so to go any way of Egypt and not to take counsel ain't got nothing to do with food. What is counsel? Is counsel, can you eat a piece of meat and then you'll be a genius?
No.
Can you eat a piece of lettuce and you'll be a scholar?
Won't change nothing.
It ain't gonna change nothing, but counsel changes the mind. In Egypt, that's what we're talking about. Don't get caught up in the diet. Listen to the counselor that goes up here. Go ahead, get it.
In a great sacred way, Romans chapter 12. Be not conformed to this world.
Yes, sir.
But be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Of your what, Getty?
Of your mind.
Give me a little bit of this Joshua 14, y'all, because we're going to see when the first Pharaoh came on earth. And this Pharaoh was wicked, and we're going to see what his practices is. And it's going to seem familiar.
Yes, sir.
The first Pharaoh, because they were called kings before this guy. The king of Egypt. Right. Give me some Sirach 14, y'all. Joshua 14. We're going to read 1 through 12, y'all. It's a long chapter. And then y'all read all in between. We're going to jump to 27 to 33. And then we're going to go to the book of Tobit, because we're going to see how this wicked Pharaoh made money. But then we're going to go to Tobit 1:16. So lock and load on that, y'all. We're going to close out on Romans 1. Jasher 14.
Book of Jasher, chapter 14, verse 1.
How we looking? Got a few pages flipping.
Everybody there? All right, here we go. Jasher 14, verse 1. In those days, there was in the land of Shinar a wise man who had understanding in all wisdom and of a beautiful appearance, but he was poor.
But he was what?
Poor. And indigent.
Indigent. Didn't have nowhere to live, didn't have no substance. Ain't that indigent?
Yep.
Yeah.
Broke down.
Nothing.
Nothing. Go ahead.
His name was Rekaniah, and he was hard set to support himself.
See, he was hard set to support himself, trying to find any way to eat. He's a hustler. He's an opportunist. Go ahead, let's read some more.
And he resolved to go to Egypt.
Where you want to go?
To Egypt. To Osiris.
Yeah.
Osiris, the son of Adam, king of Egypt, to show the king his wisdom. For perhaps he might find grace in his sight, to raise him up and give him maintenance. And Rekaniah did so.
So he gonna use his knowledge and skill, so he thinking, then this man will feed me. No, you got to go to work.
Right.
So you can feed yourself. Let's read this hustle.
And when Rekaniah came to Egypt, he asked the inhabitants of Egypt concerning the king. And the inhabitants of Egypt told him the custom of the king of Egypt. For it was then the custom of the king of Egypt that he went from his royal palace and was seen abroad only one day in the year. And after that, the king would return to his palace to remain there.
Yes, sir.
And on the day when the king went forth, he passed judgment in the land. And everyone having a suit came before the king that day to obtain his request.
Right.
And when Rekaniah heard of the custom in Egypt, and that he could not come into the presence of the king, he grieved greatly and was very sorrowful.
Because he didn't have nothing. Everybody else had to be taxed because they working people. He didn't have nothing. He's a hustler. He's a schemer. He's looking for a way in without having to work. Let's read some more.
And in the evening, Rekaniah went out and found a house in ruin. Formerly a bakehouse in Egypt.
Formerly a bakehouse, so now he's doing squatting. An empty house.
Right.
He said, I own this empty house.
An
now.
abandonmenium.
Abandonmenium. Yeah. Yes, sir. I'm going to have to use that, boy.
Yes,
so if you
sir.
hear it, I'll give you some credit for it. Go ahead. What you say? Go ahead.
Yeah, bestow upon him his credit.
Yes, sir.
And abode there all night in the bitterness of soul, and pinched with hunger, and sleep was removed from his eyes. You don't work, you don't eat.
You don't eat.
You don't sleep.
Right.
And Rekaniah considered within himself what he should do in the town until the king made his appearance, and how he might maintain himself there. And he rose in the morning and walked about, and met in his way those who sold vegetables and various sorts of seed.
What they selling?
They supplied the inhabitants.
What they selling, bro?
Vegetables and herbs and seeds.
He met them in Egypt. Go ahead. What else to say?
Vegetables and herbs and seeds. And Rekaniah wished to do the same in order to get a maintenance in the city. But he was unacquainted with the custom of the people, and he was like a blind man among them. And he went and obtained vegetables to sell them for his support.
Go ahead, bro. For his what?
Support.
Okay, he's selling what?
Vegetables.
Go ahead.
And the rabble assembled about him and ridiculed him, and took his vegetables from him and left him nothing. They ganked him.
Yeah, they ganked him.
And he rose up from there in bitterness of soul and went sighing to the bakehouse in which he had remained all the night before. And he slept there the second night. And on the night again, he reasoned within himself how he could save himself from starvation. And he devised a scheme.
What did he do?
Devised a scheme how to act.
See, what'll save you from starvation, y'all? What's that loud? Work. Genesis 3:17. Let's read some more.
And he rose up in the morning and acted ingenuously, and went and hired 30 strong men of the rabble.
Rabble rousers.
Yeah. carrying their war instruments in their hands. And he led them to the top of the Egyptian sepulchre. And he placed them there. And he commanded them, saying, Thus saith the king, strengthen yourselves and be valiant men, and let no man be buried here until 200 pieces of silver be given.
So this is what he did. He wouldn't even allow burials. He grabbed the toughest men and he said, anybody that want to bury their family members, they got to have 200 pieces of silver or they can't bury them. Now y'all read the rest of that for time's sake. We're going to jump on down, Elijah, to verse 27. So y'all keep in mind that the scheme is not to bury the dead unless they could pay. Hell, this nation don't do that. That's something called a potter's field that was always around, even in, look, that's where, what's the name got buried? The traitor, Judas Iscariot, in a potter's field. That's a place when you ain't got no family, they don't know where you, they put you in the potter's field, unmarked grave. Right. Let's read some more. Jump down to 27. Y'all read in between.
Verse 27. And the king answered and said to Rekaniah, Thy name shall no more be called Rekaniah.
I'll tell you what, back it up. Because this what happened, y'all. I'm just paraphrasing. Rekaniah, what he did is he took some old women and children when he heard the king was asking about who the hell is this around here won't bury nobody unless they get 200 pieces of silver. And the king said, I need to see him, go get him and bring him to me. So before he went to the king, he sent him big paper, sent him servants, sent him horses to bribe the king. And the king was looking like, well, he got a little paper then, how easily can you be bought off?
That's why the law of the Most High says if one is a king, he should not accept certain gifts. Because it blinds the mindset of his servant.
I tell you what, back that up at 25.
Y'all can call it lobbying.
Yeah, lobbying. Yeah, go ahead.
Verse 25. And it greatly pleased the king, and he wondered at it. This was after he got all these gifts.
Yeah.
And when Rekaniah sat before him, the king asked him concerning all his words, and Rekaniah spoke all his words wisely before the king, his servants, and all the inhabitants of Egypt. And when the king heard the words of Rekaniah and his wisdom, Rekaniah found grace in his sight, and he met with grace and kindness from all the servants of the king and from all the inhabitants of Egypt, on account of his wisdom and excellent speeches. And from the time they loved him exceedingly.
See, he's talking fast like a used car salesman. Like you hear somebody talking real fast. And the Adams of this and that, they selling you a car. You know, it's got steel better ratings on it. The sun will work on Thursday. You know, you're like, wait a minute. Fast as a car salesman, you can't hear anybody talking that fast. They're hustling and they're trying to get over on you. That's like the guy that sells stuff late at night. All you hear is the phone number, don't you? You get these pots and pans, I'll throw in another one. And this is going to tell you a minted quarter, a 1972 quarter, you can get it for $19.99.
And then
it's a quarter.
They say if you place the order within X amount, you have this amount of time left to get it for this price.
But look, it's a quarter you buying for $19.99. You're in the hole $18 and what?
75 cents.
Look here. Let's read some more real quick, Ed. We got to roll. Go ahead.
Which is the antithesis of what Paul stipulated. I do not come to y'all with eloquency speech.
Yes, sir.
I ain't trying to soothsayer, bitch.
And I didn't take no man's silver or gold.
Exactly.
Let's read some more, y'all.
Verse 26. Verse 26. And when the king heard the words of Rekaniah and his wisdom, he found grace in his sight and met it with grace and kindness from all the servants.
Yeah, read that a little louder.
Verse 27. 27. And the king answered and said to Rekaniah, Thy name shall be no more called Rekaniah, but Pharaoh.
But what?
Pharaoh shall be thy name, since thou didst exact a tax from the dead.
From the who?
Dead. And he called his name Pharaoh.
See, and when you exact tax from the dead, you take the law from them. And you charging them money and they don't have no law, so they can't pick out what you're doing because there's no law. They're taxing you and don't bury. And look, taxing the dead. He's actually taxing dead people. He's making you pay to be in the ground and it's charged to the dead. Let's read some more.
Sound familiar?
Yes, sir.
Verse 28.
Uh-huh.
And the king and his subjects loved Rekaniah for his wisdom. And they consulted with all the inhabitants of Egypt to make him perfect under the king. And all the inhabitants of Egypt and his wise men did so. And it was made a law in Egypt.
Uh-huh.
And they made Rekaniah Pharaoh perfect under
Perfect. Yeah, perfect. Good.
under
That's right.
Osiris, king of Egypt, and Rekaniah Pharaoh governed over Egypt, daily administering justice to the whole city. For Osiris, the king, would judge the people of the land one day in the year when he went out to make his appearance. And Rekaniah Pharaoh cunningly usurped the government of Egypt, and he exacted a tax from all the inhabitants of Egypt. And all the inhabitants of Egypt greatly loved Rekaniah Pharaoh. And they made a decree to call every king that should reign over them and their seed in Egypt Pharaoh.
See, so that's where Pharaoh comes from. You know, read that verse 33.
Therefore, all the kings that reigned in Egypt from that time forward were called Pharaoh unto this day.
So a wicked man will call Pharaoh, and this is why he's saying Isaiah 30, if you go back down there, you're going to learn how to swindle people. You're going to be quick with it. But give me that real quick. We can hold that. Give me Tobit chapter 1, and we're going to see how the law say you deal with a dead man, and do you try to rob his family. This is about, because the law say you can't let a man hang on the cross all night. You have to take him down.
Cursed is the man.
Cursed is the man that hangeth on the cross all night. So even a dead man, you had to bury him. We had to bury people, y'all. We couldn't, and charging them like that, you just can't do that. They're already in distress, and now you charging them. Let's read some more.
Now you see where the customs of Egypt likened it to America. All the funeral homes, set up in all our establishments in all our community. Someone has to bury the dead. True,
yes, sir.
But look at the fees they charge you. And then if there's a video where this dude who was the chairman of a funeral home, he said that they are taught to exact all your money from you. All your insurance money, because they say it basically only costs like $5,000 to put someone in the ground. But they always ask, what other insurance policy you got?
Guess who else do it? The Freemasons.
Because they say their job is to exact as much of your policy and your money from you as possible. They say getting those retainers to put the casket in and all that, and they tell you, oh, it keeps all the elements out. You in the dirt.
Right.
Elements gonna get in there.
Right.
Ain't nothing so sealed that it's gonna keep the elements from getting around your casket.
Come out the worms, bro.
Oh man, come on now.
Look, the Egyptians thought that, didn't they? Didn't they put food in there to take with you to the afterlife?
All
but
that.
when we open up them caskets today, what's in there? Rotten fruit, ain't it?
Yep. And a mummy.
And a mummy.
But you're trying to preserve that death anyway. That you need an airtight casket.
Yeah.
But that's what they try to, they said to just exact more money
from you.
You need to do this because your loved ones will be preserved. They're going to judgment.
Look, and it's turning to, it's going to turn to dirt anyway. What are you sealing out but the dirt that it's turning into?
Right.
Let's read some more, y'all. Tobit 1:16, y'all. We're going to read these and we're going to hit that Romans. We're going to close on out.
You want to hit that Tobit?
You said 1:16?
Yeah.
All right, the book of Tobit, chapter 1, verse 16.
Hold on, y'all. Let's get on there, y'all. Everybody, Tobit chapter 1, verse 16. Y'all, we getting this understanding today, y'all. See, we have to go away from the scheme and show a true heart of an individual. And the Most High will be with you and be with your sheep. And he's in captivity doing this. Right. He's in Nineveh in captive because we were slaves in Nineveh. And he's captive there. And he's keeping holy days in his captive land. And he's following the law in his captive land. Let's get that, bro. Go ahead.
Yes, he is.
The book of Tobit, chapter 1, verse 16.
Start about back that up 15.
Verse 15. Now when Anemazar was dead, Sennacherib, his son reigned in his stead, whose estate was troubled. that I could not go into Media. And in the time of Enemazar, I gave many alms to my brethren and gave my bread to the hungry.
Y'all see this hospitality? Go ahead. This Toby. Go ahead.
And my clothes to the naked. And if I saw any of my nation dead or cast about the walls of Nineveh, I buried him.
What did he do?
Buried him. And if the king Sennacherib had slain any when he was come and fled from Judea, I buried them privily. For in his wrath he killed many, but the bodies were not found when they were sought for of the king.
So he's burying the body, so the king looking for all them people are slain. Tobit was up at night burying them, Israelites, because the king was slaughtering us. Go ahead.
Verse 19. And when one of the Ninevites went and complained of me to the king, that I had buried them and hid myself, understanding that I was sought for to be put to death, I withdrew myself for fear. Then all my goods were forcibly taken away. Neither was there anything left me, besides my wife Anna and my son Tobias. And there passed not 55 days before 2 of his sons killed him. And they fled into the mountains of Ararat. And, how you pronounce it? Sarchedinus. His son reigned in his stead, who appointed over his father's accountants and over all his affairs. How you pronounce it?
This is Achiacharus.
There you go.
Achiacharus.
Achiacharus.
Yeah, boy, he know how to say it.
That's his gift, man.
Yeah.
My brother,
Anil's son.
Anil's son.
Right.
And Achiacharus, entreating for me, I returned to Nineveh. Now Achiacharus was cupbearer and keeper of the signet, and steward and overseer of the accounts. And how you pronounce it again?
Sarchedinus. Yep.
Appointed him next unto me, and he was my brother's son.
So now hold it, just jump right real quick to 2 and 11 of that same Tobit, because this is a situation where Tobit, the king was looking for him, took all their money, took all their stuff. But he had some money he had loaned to a partner of his. His partner say, I got your paper, just come and get it whenever you need it, you know. So when he lost his job, this is what we're talking about. Then his woman kicked in. You understand what he's saying? And this is that type of marriage. And this marriage, when his son got married, they wrote a contract out for him.
Yes, sir.
They had a feast for him, and then they went into the wedding chambers. Y'all understand? So the book of Tobit, y'all want to see life in captivity? Read the book of Tobit about that and how they got down in there.
The marriage certificate.
Everything.
Chapter 7, you'll read about the marriage certificate that they both signed.
Verse 11, 2 and 11. And this is after, back it up to 10, go ahead. And this is Tobit. He had some sparrow, he got blinded. And then, you know, like I say, they had took all his money and stuff from him. So he was basically unemployed at the time. Go ahead, what that say, bro?
The book of Tobit, chapter 2, verse 10.
Yeah.
Now, hit 9 because
hit 9, okay.
He breaks down the law.
Yes, sir. Yes,
the
sir.
law being defiled because of the dead body.
Yes, sir. Okay, absolutely, bro.
Start word.
9.
The 9.
Verse 9. It says, the same night also I returned from the burial and slept by my wall of the courtyard.
I tell you, you're going to have to go back. I tell you, go back to 6.
The book of Tobit, chapter 2, verse 6.
What it say?
Remembering that prophecy of Amos.
Of who?
Amos.
Where's Amos at? In the Bible, ain't it?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, what else to say?
As he said, your feast shall be turned into mourning, and all your mirth into lamentation. Therefore I wept, and after the going down of the sun, I went and made a grave and buried him. But my neighbors mocked me and said, this man is not yet afraid to be put to death for this matter, who fled away, and yet lo, he buried the dead again.
See, because he knew that was law, he like, I can't leave Israelite dead bodies out. You understand what I'm saying? He said, I have to bury him. That's the law.
That's the law.
But the police was telling me, if we catch you burying anybody else, we're going to lock you up. He like, I don't care about that. I'm talking about the law of the Most High. This going to cause famine and disease if we don't bury these people. Go ahead. What else to say, bro?
Verse 9. The same night, also I returned from the burial and slept by the wall of my courtyard, being polluted, and my face was uncovered.
So being polluted because you're dead until evening.
That's right.
Not dead till evening. You're unclean until evening. That means a contamination period. That don't mean you can't do anything. It says you're unclean because it's a contamination period. That's why if a man go into his wife any seed of copulation, he have to wash himself and he's unclean to even. That don't make the marriage bed defiled. What it's saying is between the time last night and before noontime, if there's something bad about that bed, you're going to either be burning, scratching, or razor blades, or something is going to show, the contamination going to show, even if it's yellow spots in your drawers, from what I hear. You know, go ahead, bro.
But he ain't the one gossip. He ain't the one gossip, so you didn't hear it from him.
Right. So that's a contamination period. That's all it's saying. It's saying we got to make sure, you know, especially if you're doing polygamy, you can't put that poison in the next woman.
No.
Everybody gonna be, and then if you, that's why you can't bring a harlot, meaning that if you don't know what her past is and you ain't married her legally, you bringing in somebody else drama in here because you're not legally married. You're just chang, 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 chang. That's all you doing. And her husband, her true husband, could be locked up on a 5 to 20 and delayed parole and you don't know it because it wasn't no public ceremony. So nobody could tell you, man, her husband in jail, he getting out next year. And you saying this my wife. No, that's somebody that belonged to somebody else. And you're bringing them into your household. You ain't got no background. You don't even know their parents. You know when you find out who their parents is under that doctrine, when they get sick and go to the hospital and you can't go make no decision, you have to call, Miss Jackson, you don't know me, but I'm Booba Hobble, the high priest. Yeah, your daughter's sick, but they won't let me make no decisions. She say, who you is? Oh, you that crazy one that separated her from the family. Now you calling me. Well, you better get down here because they saying they're going to take off her life support. I can't make no decision. That's what happens, y'all. This is what we talking about with no paperwork. You make 0 decisions around here. Let's read some more real quick, y'all. We're going to close out.
Okay.
All right, verse 10. And I knew not that there were sparrows in the wall. And mine eyes being open, the sparrows muted warm dung into mine eyes. And a whiteness came into mine eyes. And I went to the physicians, but they helped me not. Moreover, how you pronounce that? Achiacharus did nourish me until I went into Elamiah.
So now he's blind, he can't see. So you blind, you can't work now, can you? And look, we all had, most of us that had bird doodle fall on our heads. You're like, wait a minute, that don't feel like juices and berries.
Water drops.
That ain't feeling like soul glow. It's white and black and that's bird doodle. Go ahead, y'all.
They said Bill Cosby was blind in jail, but now he's trying to send his way back on the comedy stage.
Okay.
Verse 11.
Go ahead, bro.
Verse 11. And my wife, Anna, did take women's work to do.
What kind of work?
Women's work to do. And when she had sent them home to the owners, they paid her wages and gave her also besides a kid.
Her work was great. Did they say, here's a bonus, ma'am? Go ahead. And gave her a kid. Go ahead.
And when it was in my house and began to cry, I said unto her, from whence is this kid? Is it not stolen? Render it to the owner.
Still keeping the law, ain't he? Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
For it is not lawful to eat anything that is stolen. But she replied upon me, it was given for a gift more than the wages. Howbeit I did not believe her, but bade her render it to the owners. And I was abashed at her. But she replied upon me, Where are thine alms and thy righteous deeds? Behold, thou and all thy works are known.
So, and then if you get into the next chapter, which we ain't gonna get into, y'all gonna see that he finally like, I'm sorry, woman. I'm so sorry. He like, I should have went on and sent for that paper. That's when he sent his son and the angel came into play and he went and got that money that you count up, $37,000 they owed him. Big paper. When you look up the shekels that he was owed, it may have been 300,000, but it was, he had paper that a boy was holding for him. But his wife took work and he like, wait a minute, they paying you that good? No, you did you steal that goat? Who paying that for woman's work? A goat, but she was handling woman work, just like Proverbs 31 we mentioned earlier.
Right, the virtuous woman.
So y'all, we just wanted to show y'all that to talk about Rakan, the first Pharaoh, was charging and swindling to bury. He was an opportunist from the start. Tried his hand and everything, selling lettuce and tomatoes and herbs, and they jacked him for that. Then he went to the next move and he saw an opportunity. Nobody, if they ain't got no money, we ain't gonna let them bury their dead until they pay paper. So we had to take you to Tobit to let you see a righteous man in the law, not of Egypt, but the laws of the Most High, his counselor. He said, if they try to lock me up, I'm still gonna bury. I'm gonna hide until the cover of darkness, then I'm gonna dig a grave and bury. He actually hid one man in his house to the next day to bury him. When you get into this volume, if you wanna know how to live in captivity, read all these all the way through the book of Tobit, and you'll see some things that's gonna blow your mind. And what you mean you can't do the laws in a strange land? He kept feast days, he kept the law, and then married his son accordingly. Paperwork, had the feast, and then he sent him in there. But they had to dig a grave because it was a demon that loved that woman and had killed all her husbands, strangled them in the night. An incubus. No, succubus. Go ahead.
And the angel Raphael, him and Tobias ate fish.
Yeah, they ate fish. But he said, I technically did. You thought I did, but he assumed to eat it. But he was saying, but I really didn't. I just was appeared to do that. But there's more deeper that you have to look at in that from what he's saying. You have to really look at the fish that was pulled up. And can you trace that back to clean fish? So there's a few things in there that look more of that angel eating like that. And when you look all the way down, that fish is related to the same family as the rock something fish, but they clean, they scales and fins. So when you read it all the way through, you'll understand it perfectly. But then when they get to the marriage ceremony, and he told them what to do to run the demon off. Get the gall of a fish and this and smoke it, and that'll drive him away from you. He didn't say throw salt over your shoulder. He didn't say put some sage over here in a cup. He said you have to do it like this or that demon won't leave. So the next morning they had already dug his grave. And when they went in there and saw him spooning and cuddling, boy, they praised the Most High because they knew the demon was gone. But y'all, this is what we have to be careful of too. This is why the woman in 1 Corinthians had to have power on her head because of the what? Angels. The angels. Demonic angels are going to visit you women in your sleep to get you to commit adultery in your sleep. He may show up looking like Denzel if you got a crush on him.
Whatever your lust is.
Whatever your lust is, he will show up. And if you wake up and she's smoking a cigarette, you're like, woman, what the hell going on? Go back to sleep.
Shit, I didn't even know you smoke.
Yeah. What you got, bro? What you got? Go ahead, bro.
Donna Carter in the chat says, she has a question. She says, what should a parent do when your grown daughter disrespects you?
What should you do?
How old is your daughter?
Under our roof?
Right. How
Give
old
her the
is
choice. Obey my rules or D-E-D-A-D-O.
There it is.
Dad-a-do.
If she lives
It's the only choice.
Right.
That's all you can do at that point because you can't war with your child. No. The clay can't tell the potter what to do.
That's right.
No. Yeah, she at home, she gotta go.
She gotta go. It's gonna be harsh. It's critical, or you get control of the house.
But that's that tough love. You gotta show it to them.
Because if you don't get control of it, you lose control.
You lose control of it.
Then she'll be in there whooping you.
She whooping you, got your car, you got to be at work.
Right.
Where you at the club?
Right. Don't
What you
worry about
calling me for? Because you got my car, I'm late for work. Hang up, I'm stripping.
It's counted all joy. The son counted all joy. We're going down into temptation. What's that? I.e. the stuff hitting the fan.
Right.
All right. Manure.
Right.
But and then if you deny me before men, I will deny you before my Father.
That's what he said. See, that's very powerful because you deny the Most High. And y'all don't, when you deny his word and say his law is tampered with, you're denying the Most High. What other law are you going to get to replace it? All I'm looking for is the new diet, statutes, and judgment, not what used to be in the beginning. In the beginning, it wasn't meat that they ate that caused them to sin. It was the spiritual eating of fruit. They ate from the tree of good and evil, didn't they?
Yep.
So they ate spiritually to cause the point. Hosea 10:13 say the same thing when the 10 tribes got kicked out. You have eaten the fruit of what? Lies. Is there a fruit on the planet that called the lie fruit that you can eat? It's not physical, y'all. They just making it physical so you think you can go back to the diet. But back in the beginning, why won't they do this? In the beginning, it was Adam and Eve, wasn't it? Do Adam got another wife anywhere recorded in 960 years? Do you have another wife?
Not that I heard of.
So you want to go back to the beginning? Let's go back and quit chopping it in the middle. See, you got blood in your mouth. You're tasting that meat from Egypt. Well, does Numbers 11 say they also lusted for cucumbers? They lusted for leeks and onions. They lusted for watermelons. Why did you cut it off at meat unless you didn't want me to see the rest of that? Because then that means you're in the lust category too then that want to go back to Egypt. Charlatans and 3-card Montiers slipping that in on you, and you don't read no more because they don't anymore, because they're trained back the way they used to be. One scripture and then make a sermon out of it and then go back to their other books, T.D. Jakes' book and these other hustlers, and you read more from their books than the Bible. They have tens of thousands of these books, all of them about a purpose-driven life. What is your purpose in life? This say Ecclesiastes 12 through 14. Keep the commandments for us to what?
Whole
not
duty.
to have duty, not some of the duty, but to what?
The whole duty of man.
Where he gonna bring every secret thing and every evil thing, every good thing into judgment.
Yep.
That's what this say. But them other doctrines out there, you better be careful. Because all they tell you is do as thou will. Do what you want to do, man. God can't tell you, and you are God. But you're going to die like men.
Right.
Psalm 86, 82, and 6. Who out there, y'all? We got to hit this Romans 1, y'all. We're going to close out. Romans 1, y'all, real quick. We're going to start about verse 17. And we're going to read down, y'all, because this going to tie it up in a knot. It's going to relay a whole lot of information that is without excuse, y'all. Y'all, it's without excuse because you will not be able to say the devil made me do it. You will not be able to stand before the Most High and say the devil changed your laws. Your mouth will go on lock. There's going to be weeping and gnashing of teeth. You ain't going to sit here and try to blame Satan for what you're doing, and he's the accuser of our brethren, according to Revelation 12. What does an accuser do? Accuse you of doing what?
Breaking the law.
Breaking the law. If it's tampered with, what you think the Most High don't know that? He wouldn't just say, come on, Satan, you pulling that again? False accusing? No, he called it what it is. These Negroes said your law is done away with, your meat diet ain't no good. Are they going to be joining me? Yes, they will, if they don't change.
Let me get it.
Hey, if you all have the book of Jasher, read chapter 1, verse 19 and 20.
What it say, Elisha?
Because in verse 20 of this Jasher, it says, and now therefore, this is Abel talking to Cain before he murdered.
Right.
He says, and now therefore put off the wool of my sheep with which thou hast clothed thyself, and recompense me for their fruit and flesh which thou hast eaten.
Right. Look, so Cain,
So when we talking about the fruit in the garden, the herbs and the fruit, Abel talking about there's a fruit and flesh of his sheep.
Yeah. You wearing the clothes from my sheep.
This is Jasher chapter 1,
Yes,
verse
sir.
20. See, the scriptures don't have to always go in direct detail, but there's other books associated that go into very much detail.
But keep the
about
same law.
what was going down. So we just assume that it says fruits and vegetables and it doesn't include meat.
That's because they don't show you the meat part.
So basically,
But, so they exclude Genesis 9 and saying, oh, that's not the same as Genesis 1.
Yes,
Why
it
not? It is. It's an exact mirror of Genesis 1.
Because you
He
can't
told
get
them the
back.
same thing. The Most High clarifies everything that he's talking about.
That's right.
It needs no support from us. We're mere creatures and sinners. It don't need our support
Sure don't.
to verify what it's saying or read between the lines. It tells and breaks down what it's talking about.
It does
All
not
we gotta
need
do
our
is continue to
approval.
It
read.
don't need our approval, y'all.
We just need to keep reading.
That's all we got to do, y'all. Just keep reading. And y'all understand what Abel said perfectly. You know, and the Most High said, I heard Abel's blood crying from the ground. I'm not my brother's keeper. Anybody tell you to get rid of the law is not your brother's keeper.
Exactly.
They're not. They're running greedily the way of Cain. Cain wanted to offer vegetables instead of the righteous offering. His offspring started polygamy. Right? They disobeyed God continually and got drowned out and didn't get on the ark. 1 John 3:12 say, don't be like Cain, who was of that wicked one, meaning having that spirit in him and slayed his brother.
And remember what he told Christ. He said, I don't know where my brother is. That's
Yeah,
a lie.
that's a lie.
That's a lie. He's the son of the father of lies.
Yeah.
He told Christ right in his face, a lie.
I don't know
Where's
where
your
he
brother?
at.
I don't know him.
I don't
My
know.
brother's
Yeah, should I be looking out
Boy,
for him?
the blood of your brother's voice of your brother's blood is crying to me. I heard it. And they say the same thing to this day on verse 48. The dead still speak.
Yeah. Look, y'all, it's not rocket science. They just doing the blood now with DNA. Same thing they doing, ain't it? You know, do you know they closing cases back from the 70s by DNA? You have to watch your DNA that they get. They're running it, and then when they grab old DNA, they run it through that database. If you've been locked up and gave a sample, they will say, this is the family. It may not be him particular, but in this family, we can start here. And they go to that family, they say, oh, you talking about Uncle Earl. Yeah, he was a raper man back in the day. And then they get his name. And then they will lock Uncle Earl up 50 years later because his blood matches. DNA is blood. Right. The life is in the what?
blood. So basically,
Listen.
what? Ancestry.com is an illegitimate app.
Yes, sir. It
That's what I thought.
can't do DNA. Deuteronomy does DNA. That's DNA. Deuteronomy names ancestry. That's DNA. Prophecy names ancestry. Because who else fit Deuteronomy 7 and 6? It ain't naming a group of people. It ain't naming no color. It ain't saying in Yehoshua, the son of Jeremiah, who was the son of black. Does it?
No.
It don't go back to no color. Let's get this Romans, y'all. We're going to close out. Romans 1:17. We're going to just read a couple, y'all. We're going to close out because this is what's going to happen on Judgment Day.
We'll start at 16.
Okay, go ahead, bro.
Romans chapter 1 verse 16.
Uh-huh.
For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ.
Me neither.
For it is the power of God unto salvation to everyone that believes.
To everyone that do what?
Believe.
Y'all see why this word keep popping up continually over and over. I don't care what you're saying. If you don't believe it, it's a waste of time.
Right.
Go ahead.
To the Jew first.
To the who first?
Jew first.
Uh-huh.
And also to the Greek. For therein is the righteousness of God revealed from faith to faith. As it is written, the just shall live by faith.
Right.
For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men, who hold the truth and unrighteousness.
What they hold the truth in?
Unrighteous.
See, when you hold the truth and unrighteousness, what is righteousness you're saying is no good. That's holding the truth in unrighteousness. How you gonna look at it and say, how can that be clean meat and it's killing you? According to who? It didn't kill Abraham for 175 years. It didn't kill Isaac for 108 years. Guess what? It didn't kill Noah or for 960 years. So somebody holding the truth in unrighteousness, ain't that? Let's read some more.
Verse 18. No, verse 19. Because that which may be known of God is manifest in them, for God hath showed it unto them.
Like he done showed it to us. Go ahead.
For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen.
Like the wind is clearly seen. Go ahead.
Being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse.
So they are without what?
Excuse.
Look, you can't say the laws of this and that. Why do you call the wind the wind? Can you see it, like?
But you see it, you know it exists.
Right. You look.
Feel it.
The problem would be if you're eating bad meat, you may see that wind, and then you need to get to the doctor if that wind is visible.
What if you made what if you laid some Genesis chapter 1 verse 29 on the table and the wind swooped through like a thief in the night? It's gone.
It's gone.
You said something blew Genesis chapter 29.
Blew it away. Yes, sir. Look.
It blew it away.
So y'all, what it's basically saying is, y'all, you don't have to see something to believe it.
Right.
We ain't never seen the Red Sea open up, did we?
No.
We ain't seen a man throw down a staff and it swallow up Pharaoh's magician. But we believe it. And he said, blessed are those that believe that have not seen.
That's right.
Because if you have to see it to believe it, you're a benefit believer. Right. You got to see something for you to believe. No, unless I see it, you ain't seen nothing. Why don't that compare to everything else?
You ain't seen gravity.
What,
You haven't seen gravity.
You ain't seen gravity, right? Yeah. What you talk about?
Yeah.
Let's get some more, y'all.
Verse 21. Because that, when they knew God, they glorified him not as God, neither were they thankful.
Neither were they what?
Thankful.
Won't even thank him for the breath in your body, and all of us know we ought to be dead up in here, but some babies, and they ain't up in there. I know I should be been dead a long time ago, the crimes I was pulling, and still pulling. Should be dead. But mercy and pardon saving our lives.
Yes, sir.
And we know better than we should. Because that's why when you have a near-death experience, it show you everything that you should be going to the judgment for. You ain't never seen nobody come back from a near-death experience and say, and I saw when I graduated, yes, and I took flowers to Big Mama at the nursing home and she was so happy. You know what you see? I saw when I was stealing that car. I saw when I was crawling out of that man's window. That's what you see, because the next breath out of your body means God let me live so I can do right. Because he just showed me why I was finna be dead permanently. Let's read some more.
It says, but became vain in their imagination.
What they do?
Became vain in their imagination. And their foolish heart was dark.
What was it?
Dark. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools, and changed the glory of the uncorruptible God into an image made like to corruptible man, into birds, into four-footed beasts, and creeping things. Wherefore God also gave them up to uncleanliness through the lust of their own heart, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves, who changed the truth of God into a lie, and worship and serve the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. For this cause God gave them up unto vile affection.
What God do?
Gave them up unto vile affection. For even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature.
Against what?
That which is against nature.
So nature is telling you that if you see a boy dog and another boy try to get at him, boy dog, what's gonna happen? If two girl dogs try to sniff on one another, what's gonna happen? So they changed the use from what you see naturally. That two boys ain't supposed to be together. Two women ain't supposed to be together. Nature teaches you that. But 1 Corinthians 11 say, does nature teach you that a man should not have long hair? What in nature teach you that? It can't be the lion, because the man got the long hair and the lion, then he got the mane. Yep. You know what it means? It means if you switch roles with your woman, like a praying mantis, she kills the husband. What do they call the number one spider? The black what? Widow. Because she do what? Kills the husband. That's what nature teach you. If you flip-flop, you're going to be put to death. You're going to be like Ahab and Jezebel. That was the flip. Nature should have told you that if you let her get in charge, she going to bite your head off like a spider. Like the Black Widow. The Black Widow killed her husband after giving her his 401k and paycheck. The Black Widow didn't care. Had 2 men in his bedroom when he came home from work. The Black Widow. Y'all act like y'all wait for me to tell y'all that movie on Netflix. Well, you had to go ahead.
I got it. They got it.
Like, what are you reading from? What y'all? That's got to be on Netflix.
But I guess in other words, the LGBT, LMNOP community is an abomination.
Yeah.
And straight abomination.
It's just the same thing was in the civil rights movement.
Exactly.
They'll give us a holiday as long as they can push that through. And they let us ride the bus long as they could push through that, because Raynard Ruskin was pushing that back with Martin Luther King. He was a gay man, and he was pushing the gay agenda with Martin Luther King. Y'all get on the bus, just let me have hold of that man I've been looking at.
And once again, they literally flipped the script and turned the holy rainbow into some old Dennis Rodman type of thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, they do. Let's read some more, y'all. Let's finish this out. We're going to close out.
Verse 27. And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burned in their lust one toward another. Men with men, working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves their recompense of their error, which was meat.
See, and in those books that these men are telling you to read, do you know in them books they say David and Jonathan was homosexuals? What you gonna do about that? So they should have been put to death, right? And why weren't they put to death then? Right. No, the script say they love surpass that of a woman. It got nothing to do with a woman. It's talking about boys that give his life for his brother. That's what it's talking about. My daddy is trying to kill you because you're going to be the king. But I'm going to help you because my daddy crazy. That's love past a woman. And then his daddy went off on Jonathan. The only reason you love that nigga cause your mama is a hoe. I knew I shouldn't have married that hoe. That's what Saul told Jonathan about his mama. That perverse woman. That's the reason your mind twisted like that. I should have kept driving. I should have went home, but I circled the club one more time and saw your mama. And men know that deal. I should have took my ass home. Cause she won't leave now.
Right.
Let's read some more. Let's finish that, y'all, and we'll close out.
Verse 28. And even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind.
What kind of mind?
Reprobate mind.
Y'all, that means hopeless mind. It's like a penny with a hole in it. Where you gonna spend it at? Okay. Let's read some more.
To do those things which are not convenient, being filled with all unrighteousness. Fornication, right? Wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit.
Debate. And deceit. Go ahead. What else to say?
Malignity. Whisperers, backbiters, haters of God.
Haters of who?
God.
When you say his law is done with, you hate God because you don't want to see his law in existence. You don't want to take correction. Just like they ask, if my daughter won't take it, she won't take correction. She's a hater of your instructions. Right. She don't like what you putting down. Then you have to get your own house. Ain't that simple?
Yeah, that's it. Simple.
Let's read some more.
It says
30.
Backbiters, haters of God, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things.
Inventors of evil things.
COVID-19.
All of that. Some people put out things that say this gonna heal you, and no, it ain't. That's an inventor of an evil thing that came from over here. Go ahead, read some more.
It says disobedient to parents.
Disobedient to what? That's the kicker right there. That's where it starts. Let's read some more.
Verse 31. Without understanding. Covenant breaker.
Say that again.
Covenant breaker. Without natural affection. Is that implacable?
Implacable.
Unmerciful. Who, knowing the judgment of God, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do.
They love doing it. They love doing unrighteousness. Because until we get a set of laws that straighten us out, then we have to stick with what we got. Ain't no law. You think we just read something out of here and say, no, they didn't do it right there. There has to be a set of laws for instruction. Thou shalt not kill the calf anymore. If one runneth off the prodigal son, instead of killing the fatted calf, thou shalt kill the fatted lettuce. We got to have a change, don't we? How you gonna welcome them back in and you need the fatted calf?
Or the fatted lettuce.
Or the fatted lettuce. Which one?
Brother Kenaz wanted us to read Romans 8, 35 through 39.
Go ahead, read that real quick, y'all.
We'll get this in real quick. You ain't got to turn to it. I'll just read it for my eye. It says, who shall separate us from the love of Hamashiach?
Yes, sir.
Shall tribulation?
No.
Or distress?
Nah.
Or persecution?
No.
Or famine? Or nakedness? Or peril? Or sword? As it is written, for thy sake we are killed all the day long. We are counted as sheep for the slaughter.
We're counted as lettuce for the slaughter.
Sheep for the slaughter.
Okay.
Nay, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him that loved us. For I am persuaded that neither death nor life, nor angels, nor principalities, nor powers, nor things present, nor things to come, nor height, nor depth, nor any other creature shall be able to separate us from the love of Yah, which is in Hamashiach Yahushua our Lord.
See, and that's powerful. Hallelujah. To end it like that, y'all. Can't nothing separate us. Don't let nothing separate y'all. Nothing separates y'all from the love of the Most High. And that means y'all got to keep his commandment. It's the only way you're going to get into the kingdom.
And we counted as sheep. But Yahshua said, my sheep hear my voice.
Thank you, Gabby. That's what he said.
All right, family, we're about to get this closed in prayer. And it is with the Most High's permission. And in the name of his only begotten and beloved Son, our uncrowned King and Lord and Savior, Yahushua HaMashiach. But we know him as Jesus the Christ, y'all. Long live the King.
Long live the King.
Reading in the book of Psalms, in the 63rd chapter, it reads, O Yah, thou art my Elohim. Early will I seek thee.
Yes, sir.
My soul thirsted for thee. My flesh longeth for thee in a dry and thirsty land where no water is. To see thy power and thy glory, so as I have seen thee in the sanctuary. Because thy loving kindness is better than life, my lips shall praise thee. Thus will I bless thee while I live. I will lift up my hands in thy name. My soul shall be satisfied as with marrow and fatness, and my mouth shall praise thee with joyful lips, when I remember thee upon my bed and meditate on thee in the night watches. Because thou hast been my help, therefore in the shadow of thy wings will I rejoice. My soul followeth hard after thee, thy right hand upholdeth me. But those that seek my soul to destroy it shall go into the lower parts of the earth. They shall fall by the sword. They shall be a portion for foxes. But the king shall rejoice in Yah. Everyone that sweareth by him shall glory. But the mouth of them that speak lies shall be stopped. Hallelujah! Yes,
To
sir.
the Worldwide family, want to continue y'all to thank y'all for the continued support y'all do and help us out with these ministries, y'all. One love to y'all. These shouts out for our brother Akaz, y'all. Still needing y'all prayers. Sister Hananiah, still need the prayers for that sister, y'all. One love to y'all and thank y'all. Truly, y'all, from our hearts. Shalom out.
I think that machine thing that was going through.
Shabbat shalom, brother. How you be, baby? Beautiful, beautiful. What's up? All right.
Hey, Tubai. Hey, what, ALC? Can you run Tubai in? Cause I got.